We are here, Miss Capricorn, Mr. Capricorn, Miss Anna, Brother Adam X, on the night, Sunday, February 6th. What's your rising sign?
Oh, don't do that to
Yeah,
me.
sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. We was here.
Oh, Lord.
Two Capricorns
Oh, God.
going full tilt. Let's start it off like that. Then we can go to the
We might need to look this up. Hold up.
You don't know your rising sign?
Bro, I'm like terrible at all this.
Oh, okay.
I'm just now learning. You see this book? This is me trying to. I've had people talk about it around me. I've had people repeat it to me several times.
Yeah.
I just always forget, and I'm just like, well, I'm a Capricorn. I just stick to that.
That's what I've just now elevated right beyond I'm just a Capricorn to like kind of low key understanding all the other shit in your chart. You said you had fire in your chart. You said you had like 3 fire signs in your chart, which means you know something.
No, not 3 fire signs. My kids.
Your kids are fire. That's right.
Okay, wait. Okay, yours. You said what's my rising?
Rising.
Aries.
Oh, okay.
And then a Gemini moon.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. Okay.
Don't quote me.
I understand. So you already researched it and got the answers right.
Well,
right?
Like I said, I've had people around me that are somewhat interested in it. So there's a conversation that happens. But the thing is, it's never really too much been my focal point. I just know that it's something that exists. And now I'm I've heard it so much, and people have given me a little bit more information that I started to look more into it. To somebody like, oh, what's your rising? What's your this? I'm like, I'm not there yet.
Are you not there yet? Yeah, I feel you.
There yet.
It's not real to you like Capricorn is real to me. Like we understand Capricorn. We're like, oh yeah, we read the description of Capricorn. We're like, we're that.
I was like, there's definitely some stuff like in this book. It's like when I tell you, like,
what book?
Really,
yeah, let me see. I saw it. It looked cool.
So it's actually my friend Barbara Joss. She's super dope. Oh, she's also, I don't know if y'all could see this, but like y'all could get it on Amazon.
Poetic Affirmations.
But it's like daily reflections. So she's like super dope because
same author of both books.
No.
Yeah.
These are 2 different ones, but I got it from her.
Okay.
So
understood. Okay. Yeah.
Let's run through them. But the stars one is The Stars Within You: A Modern Guide to Astrology by Juliana McCarthy. So I randomly went to she invited me to a little gathering at her friend's house, and he has a garden in the backyard. Super dope. I liked it a lot. And it was all like, we're just having like, casual conversation and stuff like that. And then from there, she went into, having us like get index cards. And then we had to talk about like things that we wanted to release and let go.
Yeah.
That we felt were holding us back. And then we like tossed it into the fire, and we had to like, watch it burn to kind of like, it's more like, and mind you, like a couple years ago, if you would have told me about this, like I'd probably be like, oh my God, my heart probably would have like freaked out and started pouncing and stuff like that. Yeah. But like now it's like I've been learning a lot more and getting a deeper understanding of what all these different things mean. So like fire is destruction and rebirth, right?
Yeah.
So with the fire and tossing it into the fire, it's like, okay, you're destroying those like things that don't serve you anymore. Maybe it's like stuff that were like, defense mechanisms that you grew to have because obviously there were defense mechanisms to protect you, keep you shielded and things of that nature when you were younger so that you could survive and get to the place that you are now.
Yeah.
But some things aren't necessary anymore. You don't want to live on that vibration anymore. You know what I mean? And not that they leave you and not that they don't serve you anymore, but now you're growing into developing them into something else and something like maybe a bit more healthier, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're having recognition of like, that probably wasn't like the best things that happened, or like maybe say trauma or something like that that triggered it, or just an uncomfortable experience or whatever have you. Like they don't serve you anymore. It's basically a process.
I gotta burn.
So you So you write it down and then you toss it in the fire. You watch it burn, and it's kind of like a reflection of like, oh, okay, like I'm releasing it, right?
Absolutely.
And what I loved, I did it anyway, intuitively, because I've been learning that, like I said, it's a defense mechanism. Everything was there to just help carry you through. And I know there was a lot of stuff that I needed to be carried through because I was going to give up quite a few times, or did,
Yeah.
And they just help pick you up and be like, nope,
Facts.
we're not going down there. You're still, you still got a job to do here.
Facts.
So
Okay.
So
This
then
is-
I said, go,
I just realized something.
Go ahead,
I
go
know
ahead,
we're
go
both
ahead.
Capricorns because
Why?
we both forgot to open up in prayer on the mic. See, this is our problem. This is our problem.
Okay, yes, we forgot to open up the mic.
Yes, we did.
But I was simultaneously praying with you when you were praying over here.
Yeah.
So that's
But
I thought we did.
We did. Okay, we did. We always so the rule is we always open up before the mic record, before
Yes.
you record, and then we open up on the
I'm
mic.
sorry, Jehovah.
Yeah. So.
Okay,
But
go
that's
ahead.
us. That's so us. Yeah. But
Oh, go
he
ahead.
gave
We
me the
just
cognitive.
jumped in.
We just jumped
We
in.
just
That's what we
jumped
do. So I'm gonna like this. This is gonna be like ground zero for us chilling out
Mm-hmm.
and trying to go with the flow and stop trying to just force it. I gotta stop. Even today, like I was do.
We haven't even prayed yet.
I
Come
know.
on.
Okay. Thank you. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the most merciful, and master of the day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve. Thee alone do we beseech for divine aid. Guide us on the right path, the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not upon whom thy wrath has been brought down, nor upon those who go astray. O Allah, O God, O Jehovah, give us the power to chill and be with you, be with your flow, and have your essence on this podcast. Amen.
Amen.
There we go. All right. Intentional.
So let's restart.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We could do it. No, we could really do it.
all right. So, like I said, I've been reading this book. I just jumped into it after having a really cool chill event. Eating some bomb food.
Nice.
All veggies. Oh my god, it was literally on collard greens, and
Nice.
she like slightly sauteed like bell
Nice.
peppers, onions, and we had like hummus and avocado. Oh my god.
Are you
And
vegetarian?
literally, I'm working on it.
Nice.
I'm working on being, I'm working on being plant based.
Yeah, word. Okay.
So like, I would like to eventually just completely transition out of like, plant based meats and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And just to go more natural. Like I would like to crave fruits and vegetables.
Understood.
On a daily basis.
Understood.
And like, water, and be able to like, if I wanted to cook up anything or just eat stuff and be like, I could just eat it like this.
Absolutely.
That's my goal.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I see myself being. Like,
I understand.
Yeah.
Do you eat chicken?
I limit,
Understood.
but like if it's any meat that I'm gonna eat, it'll probably be chicken.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to limit that. I'm trying to get away from any of that. I haven't had red meat in a couple years.
Dope. Nice.
Yeah. I just seen a transition, so that's why I'm like I'm okay with like
Yeah.
going into having more plant-based eating. And then I've been learning, like I told you, I just graduated from a holistic wellness I don't know, the academy class,
Cool.
Things of that nature. I don't know how to explain it. And one of the things that it talks about is this like our attachment to foods.
Yeah.
And how they're connected to our emotional state and then like our spiritual state and things of that nature. So, and all triggered by like trauma,
Facts.
consoling and stuff like that. So
Facts.
I just been very ultra aware of my eating habits and what it does to my body. And I've been able to come to that place because 5-6 years ago I had already started transitioning out of meat and dairy.
Yeah.
Because I was told like, oh, take all this stuff out your diet and then bring it back in and see what type of
Exactly.
feelings that you have.
Yeah.
And I did it. I went raw vegan for 2 weeks. It was difficult.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because I was not used to that girl. I was like eating chips. I was eating ice cream. I was eating cheese, like all sorts of stuff, meat galore.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
But then when I started going back into like the foods that I was eating, man, my body was like, "Nope. Oh, this is why I feel that way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why my body looked like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I was just like, okay, well, we're gonna transition that and put that to the side.
Yeah.
We don't need that anymore.
Absolutely.
So,
And that's how you know what's true for you. You have to experiment and listen to yourself and then
Oh, yeah.
use other people's experiences and their words and books as a guideline, but really you have to listen to yourself. And that's how you know that things work for you. And that's your truth. That's it. And then you don't have to bang and tell anyone else what to do. All you have to do is just communicate, this is what I did, this is the process, and this is how I found out why I eat this way. And that's it. And then you piece, and then other people hear your story with others, and they create their own palette, their own diet, or whatever. And everyone is happy, ideally. But yeah, but you're talking about your diet in relative to the book, though. The other
relative to the book.
Yeah,
so like I said, so I think everything starts to tie into each other, right?
Yeah.
So
What's the name of the second book? The stars on it.
The Stars Within You,
There we go.
A Modern Guide to Astrology by Juliana McCarthy.
Yeah.
So like, I've been hearing about this stuff for like a long time, like astrology. Obviously, it starts off with like horoscopes and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I still never jumped into it because I was not taught to be into stuff like that. That was not good stuff growing up.
So you grew up in Jehovah in the temple in the
Jehovah's, yeah.
yeah. So that
Kingdom
did
Hall.
they have in the Kingdom Hall? Did they have that like antagonistic attitude towards like crystals and all of the witchy stuff? Astrology.
I'm gonna be real. Like, in my setting, it's not like it was something that was really talked about.
Understood.
It just, if it was like, it was more like a dialogue between like me and my grandmother. If like, she saw something, she'd be like, no, that's this and that and the.
Understood.
But like in the Kingdom Hall, like I don't really recall them bringing it up.
Understood. Yeah.
Like they were, I don't know, in my experience, they were just very chill, peaceful people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know, they were just always kind.
Yeah.
But like, I just, yeah.
So no like open hostility towards like, oh, that's devil stuff.
If like I'm sure if you had a
understood.
conversation, they might tell you, okay, no, that you're not going to find that in the Bible, and the Bible states this and that. They're like, well, I know I've heard of those experiences. Well, they'll go like that. They'll like go and read you a chapter in the Bible or a verse in the Bible. Like, okay, this indicates that it's not good, and that's why we don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know about everybody else's experience, but in my experience, like I just didn't. But I wasn't into any of that stuff. Like I didn't go seeking any of that stuff. So it wasn't going to be within my experience to have a hostile environment around it.
Understood.
And like we were already limited on what we watched anyway, so it wasn't. And then it'd just be like my dad been like, oh, "Okay, you see that witch stuff? Nah, that's not cool. Da da da. That just leads to devil." So it was more so like family members more than the Kingdom Hall.
Yeah. And I understand where he's coming from now, having just experience with that realm. It's just like because there's poles and everything. Like there's quote unquote good and bad and everything. So yeah, you could. I mean, witchcraft, you can use it to heal, or you can use it to bind to control, right? And I've seen both. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
Everything comes, the power itself. Yeah. It just
nice.
It's always needing to have that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you could run away with it really fast.
And that's what people do. And it has been my experience when it comes to like horoscopes, astrology, witchcraft. Is like I see a lot of people running away to that specific avenue of Godland, spirituality, and then not balancing out with the humility of realizing you're not the God, you're not the divine, you are divine, but you're not the supreme being. And so I see what these like tunnel vision focuses, and you get this in religion too. You get hyper Christian, hyper witchy, hyper anything, and you guys get
hyper anything. That's what I would be like. Just hyper, just anything across the board, and just my viewpoint and my experience tends to have a steep downfall.
Yeah.
Just because it's just like there's no balance, because there's no way for you to get any other information. You're so linear, right?
Yeah,
like you're so like, I'm not. It doesn't matter what you say, even if somebody tells you something logical
or truth.
You're not gonna. You're gonna have a lot harder time. Not to say that you could never, but you're just gonna have a lot harder time. And I could tell you that for just pure experience.
Both of us.
I want to say only because we're in this experience that. Because we're Capricorns, I don't know enough to say that's 100% true.
Yeah.
But I want to say just because it sounds like us. It's a possibility.
It sounds like us. That's how we think. It's like, no, it's got to be this way. No. You're a Christian and you're going to hell. That's us. That's how we think. It's just like, no, this is the way. This is the way. This is the way. There is no other alternative.
Man.
It's my way.
Hey,
and I've been in that realm of that, not really with religion, but with atheism. Like, bro, like I was the best atheist known to man. Like that was just so me. It's like, wait, what? Get that shit out of here.
I've given myself that title.
Yeah. So for me to go from that paradigm to now, where it's just what you eventually learn to do is you learn how to shut up, right? You just shut up and listen.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's
a huge lesson.
The more you learn about that your one specific lane of experience is not the only one and everyone else is right too, then you just got to shut up and listen. Because everyone is giving you pieces of God constantly. And you can learn from people, and you do learn from people constantly. So you have to be open to the possibility of always receiving messages from God through other people, other ideologies, opposing ideologies, enemies, people you once hated yesterday. He's going to give it to you. And his calculation, and I could say this is like, he's always on like the got you mode. It's like, oh, you thought you had it? You thought this person was, got him, got you. Oh, yeah, what now? Got you. Oh, got you. Right? You know that feeling, right? It's like, oh, man. All right, God, I see you, bro. Like, you got me. You got me because I thought I had it. I thought I knew this person. I thought I was better than this person. I thought. And he's like, I got you, bro. And
what my dad would say is that, like, I can't do things intentionally ill because God will get me really fast. He's like that karma,
like that,
just like that. It's and like then that. I say, like, I feel like,
it's like that.
Sometimes it's like that. Like, say like a small example is somebody's walking, they trip, and then you go and giggle. And then
tripping, right
and then
after.
you and right. And like I feel like that's like the simplest example of something like that. And then some people, it'd be a while later. It'd be like once they tried so hard to get something, and then they fall flat on their faces.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, ooh.
Yeah.
But I bet you forgot about this instance over here when you shat on somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just trying to get there.
Yeah.
But I think I'm working on a place of like. I'm working on the whole judgment thing, like not placing judgment.
Big. That's very big.
And I think we have to work on not judging ourselves, because when we're able to give ourselves grace, we're able to give other people grace. I've heard that before, and then I've started to put it into practice, and I realize on the days that I give myself a grace or lax, it's a lot easy and more peaceful for me to like give it to other people. Like I don't hold on to it. Like I'm just like, go ahead. Yeah. Like I'm just like, it's cool, bro. Like just whatever you need to do, and you just have like I don't know.
Having grace with oneself. I got to work on that. That's real. That's very real. Because we hold on to our guilt. And that inhibits our ability to execute our intuition, execute our, just what we really want to accomplish. Because it's like, oh, man, that one time. I don't want to explore anything similar to that one time I failed because, God, bro, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm like,
it's okay. Like, I'm literally talking. I'm talking to me
right now.
Super talking to me right now.
Don't like so many millionaires. Like there isn't any millionaire that you'll find, or a wealthy person that you'll find that created something that didn't try and fail.
Facts.
Probably multiple times before they got to where they are now.
Yeah, they failed up. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the people that been given riches.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about the people that like actually like created and built something. Like it's a trial and error. Like you have a trial and error when you first get here. Even when you think about kids, like you were a kid once too. You were a baby once too. It's a trial and error. Like you have to figure out like, okay, what kind of cry do I need to get this?
Yeah.
It's like, but you're quick. Yeah. You have to be so quick and adaptable at such a young age, because you only got that split second to be like, whatever cry came out, like, this just came to me right now. But like, imagine if as an infant, right, they say that you come here with all this information, all this knowledge and stuff like that. And that's why you can't speak. Like you don't have a way. Plus it'd probably be very scary to us. But like you can't speak, but you're the closest to, maybe godlike energy, or in that space, or when you returned, or you have all this information, but you can't give it.
Yeah.
And maybe because you were sent here to learn a lesson or to give something to the earth or whatever have you.
Yeah.
But like,
and you're changing mediums. You're going from spiritual to material. So that transition is pretty traumatic. Yeah.
You're just like, bro, go ahead and go watch yourself some videos on the maturation from like the conception to when the baby's born. That mess is so like the more
Go
you
on.
watch it, the more you're just like, what?
What it specifically? So you watched a video about
I was watching multiple. 'Cause the
consciousness
kids-
specifically in the
no,
womb?
like not just conscious. The brain, if I'm not mistaken, the brain is one of the first things that develops.
Yeah.
Like besides like, okay, it turns into the cell. But like
Yeah.
once it like starts to turn into the cell and it starts to like from into the body,
Yeah.
it's like I believe one of the first things that builds is the brain. No, it makes sense because everything else is built around the brain and the connections and stuff like that. Yeah.
Understood.
So
Okay.
it's like the brain and then it's like everything else starts to like form.
Okay.
But if like you see it, it's a cell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you have another cell coming
Sperm.
with gonna stuff like millions,
Yeah.
millions of these little things that are holding DNA,
Yeah.
and one makes it to this egg.
Yeah. Me. You. Yeah.
Like what?
It's crazy. Yeah. Just one.
I'm sorry. I feel like we jumped around to so many different things right now, but like all back to the point that
Yeah.
you come to a place, you have to figure like, what if a baby, when it comes here, the first cry comes out, maybe the intention was not, hey, I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they are hungry, but they just let out a noise. Like they don't even know what the sound is yet, right? They just make out a noise.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, and you put it in there like, oh, okay, so that's how I get her to put, like, give me some milk or feed me or whatever. And then that's just the noise that they go. And then as they start to build their voice more and more and more, right, they get louder and louder and they do that same cry. And then another sound comes out and they're like, oh, well, that's new. And then it's like up to the mother to learn the different cries, right? It's like, I don't know if you ever learned that, like over time. So I know in my experience, like people are like, oh yeah, you learn your baby's cries. I was like, what? At first it sounds so stressful and you're just like, I don't understand. Everything sounds the same to me right now and all this type of stuff. But over time you start to develop like an understanding of like what different sounds mean what for your child.
Absolutely.
And there might be similarities across the board as like, like the child, like if they're like gripping their hands like this or like going like this when they feel like it's natural, innate, it's innately in them to like when something brushes their cheek, they'll go over there thinking that it's the breast.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? Or like they hold their hands tight like this. If they're breastfeeding, they're still hungry.
Yeah.
And as soon as they start to relax, it's like they've been fulfilled. You know what I mean? And so, but like, what if all these different ways that like we learn to communicate, like, because there could be some babies that don't really cry at all. It could be part of their temperament, but it could also be like their needs are always met. So they don't really need to fuss or cry or anything. And then you have other babies that their needs are never met. And they might cry a lot or be more frustrated or feel neglected. Or you have other babies that they just don't desire to live anymore because they're not paid attention to, they're neglected and all this type of stuff. And they stop crying. They just stop being a part of anything at such a young age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. There are babies that died because they have it. It's I took child development and there's like, it's in there, like a descriptor about like children that just, they have no desire to live anymore.
Understood.
Because their needs are met.
Yeah. And you got all this information from that video on YouTube about child development? Or no, that's just...
Like I said, I talk too much and I talk too fast.
Yeah, and you bring up
My
interesting
brain-
shit, so I
my
gotta.
brain
But
is
you,
just
but you understand my job is right. All I do is I listen. I'm very good at listening, and I'm
You're
like,
very good.
I take tabs on what's been said. I was like, okay, we gotta close this. We gotta close this because I want to know. And because I listen and I'm generally interested in people, I'm like, no, I want to know because you went and talked about something cool and then fucking finish it.
I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna work on that in this podcast episode.
This is the flow because it's my job. It's just channeling the flow. And even like when me and Timur were like actually working and setting up meetings, this is what I do during meetings. I'm like, actually, let's go back here. You speak. So I'm starting to find like what
your niche.
Yeah, my thing. It's like I could flow. I could channel.
You know, that's gonna help you probably line up a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Learning your voice in that aspect, in I guess some sense of that masculine energy. So I learned like we're gonna have to close out on so many things.
No, I understand. Yeah, I mean, because you're opening a lot of books right now. You're opening a lot of books, and I'm like, all right, we could go here, but like, ideally, I would like to close it.
Okay,
it's good practice.
So we
but
need to close it. Okay,
go continue.
Wait,
Continue.
We could go back. So what am I supposed to close first?
No. Just go. You brought up masculine energy.
So I was bringing up masculine energy because, like I said, I really wanted to do research on the topic at hand today, which was the necessity of strong feminine energy. And I was just like, well, what's feminine energy, right? Because I didn't want to come in here and be like, oh, I'm still learning about this stuff.
I got to give you the context over that. When I told you that, it wasn't like necessarily the topic. It was just something that I needed to. I've been waiting to commend you for the last episode with me and Tamu, and you came on for that specific thing. So I'm not sure. You listen to the episode, right?
Yeah.
So like, we was on some like masculine nigga shit. Like that's with me and him. That's how it is. Like we don't give a fuck. Like we're very much like chest beating and like a raw aggressive masculine. And what you bring to the table is like, okay, chill first and foremost. Y'all need to chill with that shit. And also you were very, because we were reckless, like him more than me. I was like okay, yeah, get it bro. But it was mostly him, like just like bro, like you literally talked over her for like 15 minutes straight because he was on some bullshit mostly. But I was like, bro, damn, like you really just talking over, like you're just like aggression. But you felt it, and you didn't become less of you because of that. You know what I'm saying? And he told me, we talked about it after like the podcast, and he's like, yeah, she had like 6 older brothers. Like that's like.
No, I only have one older brother and I have 5 younger brothers.
Okay, so you grew up around a lot of masculine energy.
Yeah.
Super lot. I think that's what he told me. He said you grew up around a lot of brothers. And I was like, that makes sense, because like what I got from that is that you held your ground. And you were strong in who you were, and your energy was necessary to keep us from going too we went off the rails because your boy was talking about strip clubs in heaven, you know what I'm saying? So it was already ridiculous, but your presence alone, I was like, okay, like, all right, you guys could do that, but no, there's boundaries. It's very like, it was maternal, and it's necessary, because knowing that you're just around, it makes me feel more comfortable. It's like, oh, I could be on some reckless shit because she'll prevent us from jumping off a cliff. You know what I'm saying? So I can just be raw, a boundless, reckless, masculine male, knowing that energy.
Respectfully.
And that too. But that's also your job to make sure it doesn't dovetail into disrespect. Because we were getting close. I mean, to me, it was like, okay, we're being a little bit like overbearing and like talking over her. But every time you're like, let me speak. So I was like, okay, thank God that you didn't allow us to completely railroad you.
Oh,
like you didn't. It was nice. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I've been wanting to tell you that, but I wanted to wait to the podcast. I want to be on the record as like, no, I felt you, and I was like, damn, good for you for like standing up to our reckless bullshit. Not bullshit, but you feel it. Just like, fuck it. Like I'm gonna be me.
Yo, we're talking. Man, hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then that, and so another thing that this podcast, I know it's real because like things get breathed into reality here, manifest themselves in the real world, including land up in Sacramento. But also what happens to me, most of the time after an episode, I go to sleep, and like the episode bleeds into my dream.
Okay.
So the dream, it was me, you, and Tamu on land, and the role that you were playing during that podcast episode was on the farm. So you were doing like the same like counter to our raw, aggressive masculine energy, just in the real agricultural realm. It was real. Like we were actually doing it out there, and you were like, no, we're not going to grow this because no, dude, like chill. So I can't remember the specifics, but I definitely know that I saw a glimpse of where we are going, the type of world that we're entering to, and your energy that you had during the podcast of just like the maternal backdrop for masculine, like going out there hunter gathering. It was there, and it wasn't theoretical like it was in the podcast. It was real. So I saw that.
That's dope.
And that is why I was like, oh shit, you need to keep being who you are, because it's necessary for me to be who I am, necessary for your boy to be who he is, necessary for your son to be who he is, necessary for your husband. So this is just me saying like, oh shit, yeah, this woman thing, it's not to be fucked with. It's I mean, I knew that. I mean, I knew that. I have daughters, I have mother. My mom is very much like you, but like I was like, oh man, like no, like this energy is what needs to be cultivated and built up so that men know without a shadow of doubt that the bullshit ain't gonna work. Your disrespect and it's not going to work is because it's antagonistic to the nature and order of the universe, and it's the mother nature side and I'm speaking. I'm not just speaking from how I feel right now. It's that's the function of Mother Nature to be like, okay, cool, I'll give you the raw material to go out and execute your masculine plans, but there's rules to this shit, bro, and you're not gonna go past the boundaries, or you're gonna get clapped. Yeah, so that's why I text you the necessity of feminine energy. It could be that I just wanted to mention that my take from the last episode, but I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I need to, and it's nice to have when you and what's sister's name that's on BE Art Firm. It's you and
Tony.
Yeah, Tony. When you and Tony came for the first episode you were on, it was just nice having that energy in the building. It's nice.
Oh man, Tony's so chill.
It's nice. It's really nice to have healthy masculine and feminine energy around. It's nice. Not even on some like club shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nice to have like men and women building together. Period. Without like the whole like the dynamic of like sex. Just like no, it's energy. Just raw masculine and feminine energy. Just here.
I feel like what you're describing is like the authenticity of it, right? It's like nobody trying to outshine the other, trying to be more of anything, but just being. And it is absolutely 100% necessary because most of the time we're not acting as ourselves. Like we were just talking about before this, you know, like you always feel like we have to go. And we don't give ourselves the space, the time, the energy to connect with ourselves and to understand or internalize who we truly are and create like just in that experience. Like I said, like for example, like Tony, like super chill. Like she's the one that like
what's you know what her sign is?
She's a Virgo.
Okay.
So she's Earth too.
Nice.
But she's the type, she's a really good listener and she could be like real chill and quiet, but she got all the information. Like she knows so much stuff.
Yeah.
You just like, but she's so low key.
She's super low key.
So low key.
How old is she? What's her age?
She's actually a year older than me or a couple months older than me.
32?
Yeah, she's going to turn 33 this year.
Understood.
Hey, it's her year.
Nice.
But I think just the dynamic of like allowing for masculine energy and allowing for feminine energy and not saying one is better than the other or there's a need for one more than the other. There's always that need for that balance, right? Because we were made together. Like I have to say, like if you look at the Ankh, I was watching something, and
the Ankh, the ANKH.
So like it's like okay, so it's the feminine and then you know the ovaries and then you know the penis and then
that's what that is.
Yeah. So like
I thought it was just a cross that was not a cross. It looked weird. I didn't realize it represented the phallus and the ovaries.
Yeah. So like I just learned about that like last year.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's you see when you like learn the deeper meaning to stuff, it's not evil anymore, right? It's not like it's like just like stars and astrology, like or healing or like you know herbs, like how they put like herbs to be this like big evil thing, but it's just like but that's what your parts of your medicines are made of that are you know just treating things and like the everything comes from the earth.
Everything.
Like I was just like everything we come from the earth. Everything that's in the earth is in us. Facts. All the minerals, irons, like the fact that we have metals in our bodies is still tripping me out. Like everything that all the components of this earth is what we hold into us. It's no coincidence that there's 70% water on the earth and there's 70% water in us.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence that as the moon becomes, you know, I was gonna say non-existent, become, covered, and then it starts to expose itself and becomes crescent moves and then becomes fuller and fuller and fuller, that we also transition in ourselves on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Especially
that
women.
Mm-hmm.
Especially women.
And the closer that you get to like the cycle of like your cycle hitting the day that the moon comes, like it's just, everything is just very much connected, and it always needs, I forgot I was wearing eyeliner. God. Well, it is what
now
it is.
You know.
No, I know.
Now you know.
It's just very much necessary. I think
the moon, everything's connected with the moon.
Everything's connected to the moon. Yeah. Everything's connected to the earth. We're all connected with our higher source, whether we like to believe it or not. We all vibrate and have a sense of frequency. That's why we feel each other, even if we're in a good mood or not a great mood. Like, we're all here. Yeah. Like, it's just, everything is just amazing. Like I said, if I'm gonna jump back to just the simple fact of going to conception, like the fact when your biological parents, whether they're still together or not, came together and created life on what types of probabilities. I'm pretty sure you've had sex dozens and dozens and dozens of times, but had 3 kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
only 3 times. I've only done it 3 times. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about here, ma'am. It's 3 times. Oh man. Yeah, if only.
But like Lord. The fact that like life was created, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's so crazy. And then to watch the videos that I was talking about on YouTube, it literally was just talking like, oh, from conception to 9 months. It wasn't trying to dive deep into the spiritual aspects of anything. It was literally just showing you the different stages of development.
Oh, okay.
Through pregnancy.
Okay.
But it's like, it's because my kids wanted to watch it.
Nice.
And then like they keep asking me, so we were watching more and more videos, and then it was the one that like, thank the Lord there was no sound to the video, but like
what
it was inside, it was like not animated. Is it considered animated?
Animated is like if cartoons.
Yeah, it wasn't cartoon.
Yeah.
But it was like, it wasn't a real person.
Okay, so I guess animated, it was graphic. Yeah, I don't know.
Graphics, I don't know.
It wasn't a real human body.
It wasn't a real human body, but it's animated. Like what happens.
Yeah, so that's animation.
What ended up happening is like, it starts the video and then all of a sudden you see white and I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is that? And then I see like swimmers and I'm like, oh, that's sperm.
Yeah.
And thankfully, like I said, the video was silent because I don't know what noise.
What? An explosion?
What was going? I didn't know what. Like, it took me a second. Like, thankfully, they didn't really ask too many questions until the thing started swimming. And I was like, oh, that just. And I didn't go into that whole description. I was just like, oh, that cell needs to go to this other cell to create a baby.
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting into the conversation yet.
I understand.
But it's like watching it from that point to the 9 months just tripped me out.
Damn.
Just
in a good way, right? Or in a weird? Did it make you feel weird?
No, it just expanded my mind.
Understood.
Like, I was just in amazement, and it just made me. I was just like, wow, like we really exist.
Yeah.
The fact that we do exist is just amazing.
Yeah.
That's even a possibility. We act like this stuff is normal, which I guess if whatever we consider normal, but we act like our normal could be there's only one person on earth. Yeah. Like, if that was just somebody's reality. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I was just watching, and I was just, the more I watched, I was just like, wow. And the more information I got about like the different development stages that the baby's going through, the fact that I learned about that babies like can see lights, like the melanin in the uterus lights up with like the different emotions or like foods and stuff like that that you eat, like so the baby can see it while they're in you. Like, it just all this different stuff, how the baby eats while they're in your stomach, like All this
The
just is
melanin
so-
in the uterus lights
yeah,
up?
yeah.
What?
If I'm not mistaken, it's the melanin. I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like y'all don't quote me. Just go look it
Yeah.
up, find out the names if I'm incorrect.
That is interesting.
But
I
like,
mean, because like it's funny, we watch these animations and like it's very easy for us to conclude that this is what it really looks like in real life. There's light, but there's no light down there. It's utter darkness, right? It's darkness. Isn't that crazy? Like it's black. It's black.
I was like, if you
Black.
look at
black.
how I imagine it is if you looked at the back of your computer screen.
Yeah.
I imagine they probably see something like that. It's like, what if they just see the universe inside you?
Ooh, maybe. I wonder. See, there's a whole bunch of questions because the thing is, we know the answer because we were there. We've had this experience. So when you started talking about the development of the material development of the child, I'm wondering like, okay, when does the actual spirit when do we enter into the embryo? Are we in a sperm? Probably not. Do we enter as soon as conception? Like the being, the soul.
Would it be when like the brain develops?
I don't know.
As soon as the brain develops?
I don't know. I read in one
Because that's in consciousness, right? Is the brain? Or no?
Brain is a tool. Consciousness is separate than that. And it's
Interesting.
also, there's consciousness, there's soul, there's mind, all these different things that we've labeled, but
Okay.
they all are a part of us in this current material body. And what I really want to remember is which part of conception did me become that? Did that material clot become me? Was it as soon as they met? And I was like, okay, now we can go in. I know it's early. I just don't know how early. I know it's very, very early because I've been doing research. I've read not this book, Bhagavad Gita, but another one, Srimad Bhagavatam, and it talks about how in the womb, earliest stages, we are, like you said, infinite. We know everything, and we're just like praying to the Lord, to God, about, okay, get me out of here. Like, damn, like I don't want to be here. I know all the answers. Like I'm stuck in this confined material space. Get me out, get me out, get me out. And the transition from the knowingness of the womb to the abrupt insertion into physical reality outside of your mother is so abrupt that it kicks out all that knowledge and you forget and you enter the new world.
Because of trauma.
Yeah, it's super traumatic. Super
imagine?
super traumatic. It's traumatic.
In water, like, woo,
Yeah.
this is cool. Just floating around, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, wait. Oh, it's getting kind of tight in here.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear somebody screaming. It's like, wait, what's going on? Oh, there's a lot of light.
Yeah.
I am blind. There's so many noises.
Yeah, I'm crunched up, and I'm like, okay, God, get me out of here. And a lot of times you see him in prayer hands. It's like, okay, yeah. And there was this dream I had as I was like the only dream I can remember as being a baby, and I was definitely me. Like this, like I was still me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I was me, and my mother and father were holding me. We were on an airplane. My mother and father were holding me, and I just remember like looking at them. That's it. Like but I very specifically remember that experience. Like, oh, this is what being a baby feels like. And I was me. I wasn't dumb. I was just like aware.
Would you
It's crazy.
explain it as like? Because I had an experience somewhat like that, but I wasn't a baby. It's like you were there. It's almost like you could see through the eyes of the whole experience. You could feel everything that's happening. You could hear it, all this type of stuff. But it's almost like, there's almost like a blank space in between you and that being. It's like you're there, but not there. It's like, here's the face and the being. And there's space in between. And then there's you.
I know what you're saying. No, not that.
Okay.
I was the baby. I was the face of the baby. I was the face. I was like in a little swaddle.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. I wasn't like a being, like a spirit controlling a body. I was very much like me, I was a baby.
Okay.
And I knew that I was a baby. And and I just remember there was some turbulence and. Yeah, I know it had something to do with like my upbringing, but I just remember there was turbulence, and I remember being at peace and be like, okay, mommy and daddy got me. I don't have to do anything. But yeah, just being like very aware of my seeing everything and feeling everything, and just being like, okay, cool, and also knowing that I am not responsible for taking care of myself. Like I can kick it. It was nice. It was very nice, but also just made me realize, like, man, we both of us have babies, so that means they're aware. They know what's going on. So anytime like there's drama and chaos in their environment, they feel it.
Oh, heck
Yeah. Yeah, so it made me just reflect on man, what are you doing in your environment, Adam, that you don't want your children to be aware of because you don't want them duplicating these same traumatic incidences that you're currently going through. That is what it got me to realize. So yeah,
That's a good realization though.
Yeah, it's
That's to be
don't
to
play
be
around
aware.
with babies. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't play around with babies.
To be that aware, to like, we were talking earlier about not really having like conversations about like issues and stuff like that when we're younger, like there not being like that dialogue of if there is a fight or altercation, there being like any repairing the situation resolution.
No.
So obviously when you would get into situations where you did have to resolve something, you have no clue how to do it, and you kind of either run away or kind of make the situation worse because you're just like, well, I don't know how to deal with this. So
it's not my fault.
No, right. I was
like, I didn't do shit. I didn't know.
It can't be me.
It can't be me.
Can't be
not
me.
my fault. I didn't do anything.
But
or you run away.
Or you run away.
Yeah,
it's like what I've done my best since my kids were like really, really small. Bro, it like literally before they crawled, just like a couple months old. Like if I've started to feel really stressed or upset or bothered, or even in good times too, I would talk to them about it. I'm like, what? I'm sorry. Mommy's really having a hard time today. And I don't know what to do with myself. And I feel like I need some help.
Damn.
And I would just be like, I would just be honest. And then I started to,
that made me feel good hearing you say that. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because my mom was very much like, I remember my mom being very stressed out growing up and like not communicating how she felt. She just fucking dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? And I find myself, that's what I do. I don't tell my children how I feel. Like, they don't give a fuck. Yes, they do. They do care. They do care.
Because they feel the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Whether you're disconnected, whether you're actually having conversations with them, playing with them and all that type of stuff, or don't have time for them, or your mind is focused on something else. Maybe the reasons why we feel like we need to do, or like constantly moving is because we're trying so hard to ignore something else that we know needs us to step into.
Oh, God. Make it stop. Oh, I knew you were going to go there. Podcast over. Fucking over. Oh, God. Oh, it's the truest shit I've ever heard. That's exactly what it is. We have to do because we don't want to confront what's really going on inside. So I gotta go. Oh, gotta do this list. Oh, why do I feel like crying? Why do I feel like crying? I'm not crying. I'm not crying. No. Let's keep doing.
Oh, you need my help, Chad? I'm sorry, I can't help you. My mind is too focused on all these other things I gotta do.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and it's and like when I hear them cry, it's like my initial instinct is to shh, because I'm really shushing on myself because I feel the same way. It's just I don't know how to talk about it. So I don't know what to do. Sometimes.
So another thing that I'm learning is that everybody has a masculine and feminine side, right?
Facts.
So, when we were talking about the last time we all spoke here together, you were like, oh, that strong feminine energy. Like I have that masculine energy within me.
Oh, super.
And me growing to have that balance because honestly, I shunned away from it. So like on the topic of feminine energy, I was like, trying to write notes. I got a little bit and maybe I just got exactly what I needed because when I started to really like think to myself, well, what does feminine energy mean to me? I had no clue what the heck that was when I was younger. What it looked like to me was sexy, having the guy's eyes on you, having a boyfriend, having sex appeal, just look at me, like that type of like energy, but there was no like I didn't like really necessarily see like confidence.
Yeah.
Maybe like a perceived confidence, like a pseudo confidence, but it was like a natural confidence. It was always like you had to be like, be out there like that. And I wasn't necessarily comfortable with that, but I would try. And I swear I always got smacked down. And before I don't mean necessarily by people, but like, let's say like I might end up realizing that I have a stain on my clothes that I didn't realize before or something like that. And that mess would like smack me down, or my hair was out of place. I'm like, why didn't nobody tell me? I got lipstick on my teeth. Like, it'd be like stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure that, you know, the universe was like, you ain't supposed to be going in this direction. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
Bro, like even like before I came here, like I started stressing about like what to put on, because I'm like, what reflects feminine energy? Oh my God, I can't go in there like super like, you know, I was low key about to come in like a baggy shirt, like all this type of stuff. And I was like, oh, I felt so comfortable. Like I was just like, this feels like my spirit, because I've always been like
in the baggy shirt,
a dual, like, no, like, okay. So when I was younger, like I like one of the oldest pictures that I always remember is me having my foot on a soccer ball, me having a girly shirt, but having baggy pants that unzipped and turned into shorts, which I thought were the coolest thing under the sun, and like some like big Van shoes that were like boy shoes.
90s.
And I
good times.
Loved just, and then my hair just being out and wild. And that was
that's the 90s.
That was Lord. Like that was me. Like I always had that very what people call like tomboyish energy. Like I was very
skater girl.
I didn't
like skater girl.
Right
skater
now
yeah.
Skater girl. Yeah. Back then it was like you're a tomboy. You're too. You're like a boy. Like when I look back, I was like, there was possibly chances that boys liked me, but because I didn't understand how that looked on their side, I just took it as y'all trying to fight me. So I would be like, they would poke me and I'd be like, bam.
That's funny.
Like,
that's funny.
like,
that's funny.
And they'd be like, ow, like why did you? I'm like, well, you like I'm not sure, like with not understanding that I also have brothers, and like if they're messing with me, we about to fight.
Understood.
Like we're not this. So this dynamic, like I think you're cute, but I'm not thinking that that's what you're giving me. And you're messing with me. So now I'm gonna beat you up. Like now we about to fight.
I understand.
And then I'm gonna show you who's boss.
I understand.
And then
that's brother shit. Like, that's brother shit. That's true. That's brother shit.
We're just gonna go about it.
Exactly.
So like to me, like I was. What was that? I was
Someone
always
close the door.
Oh,
neighbor.
Oh, I was always that person. And then as I started getting older and got into relationships, I was starting to be told that it was like too masculine, that I was too strong, and I was like all these different things, and it was like pushed all that down. So I was like, okay, well now I need to become more girly. Okay, what's more girly look like? Okay, now I gotta wear like, make sure I'm like wearing tight pants and like crop tops or this and that in nature. Okay, now I gotta put my hair up. My hair has to be neat. I have to wear makeup.
What grade was this?
Oh, it's upstairs.
Yeah, it's upstairs. Yeah,
like,
scared me.
I was like, well, okay, you made me. I was like, you made me calm for a little bit. Now I don't know. So struggled with all of that.
Yeah, but when did these cognitions
middle
of
school?
When did you start and want to be more girly? You remember what grade?
Oh no, like I know what grade. Like fifth, like after fifth grade.
That makes sense.
After fifth grade, because a boy that I liked ended up liking somebody I knew. I wasn't really friends with her, but she had like glasses and she was just very soft spoken, very quiet. And like you have to start thinking about like, oh, what are the things that brought me to the place that I am now? Like what are the different experiences that made me believe this, or told me this about myself, or told me this about the world, and all that type of stuff. And I think that was the moment that I was like, oh, I'm not like other girls.
Understood.
And I was like, I'm not soft-spoken. I'm not this and that. So then I started to like kind of try to be that, but it was very, very, very difficult for me. I was not comfortable in that state of being. So like my personality came out more aggressive, I think. And because I'd just be like, okay, well, now you're not respecting me, or now you're not doing this, or now you think that you could touch up on my booty. And I'm like, I don't know who you are, or you could touch up on my leg. I don't know who you thought. You know what I mean? And then that would start coming out. So then people were, now I could see like white boys be like, wait, what? Like,
I understand.
So you came out here, you got the pants, you got this and that. And then now you just calling me out.
Yeah.
I don't
now you're about
like
to fight me.
What like
what? You don't
like
expect that.
What? But then that also tells you about like the whole dynamic in what boys are taught. It's just like what gives you the impression that even if I was dressed in tighter pants, or even if I wasn't dressed, bro, had some weird ass experiences. Been like in baggy pants, baggy shirts, and still had grown and been like in middle school, early high school, and have grown men stop and start like trying to ask you for your number and stuff like that. It's like the weird. That's what I'm saying. Like,
God.
you just like understand like how do you have a healthy experiences being like a woman or being feminine or like all this different stuff, because it's like if you're feminine or too like if you're too nurturing or like I guess soft, right, or have a softness to you, you get people that try to abuse that.
Facts. Super facts.
But then when you're like masculine, then you got people that start to feel inferior or feel uncomfortable with your masculinity, and then they try to shut that down.
Facts.
So then
Super
you're
shut
just
down.
like, well,
Label you
I don't
tomboy,
know, right?
lesbian, dyke, they call you all those things. Yeah.
And you're just like, well, I don't. What the hell? Like, and it's not even like I had representation in my home like that like, hey, this is what you're gonna do, and this is the different emotions that you're gonna go through. Like,
no.
I didn't have all that structure.
No,
like,
hell
so it's just like, how you
We're winging it?
Right,
Fucking still winging it, and then
winging
like this shit, this masculine, feminine, super winging it,
winging the hell out of it. Having a lot better of an understanding now that I'm like diving into it and owning it, and having a partner that's like fully from the beginning been like, there's no wrong in you, like you like. Whether you have that masculine side to you or have the feminine side, like, and then what I just started growing before this podcast was like, I was like, my feminine side needs to be earned. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just give out my feminine side. Like, I don't, like, you're not going to get that softness, that nurturing, that type of side from me. Like, sometimes I'll force myself to give it to be likable and to like be digestible to people, because I feel like, okay, if I'm me, who I am, they're not going to like that, or they're going to like shun away from me. So I'm trying to learn to like get away from feeling like I need to please everybody.
Yeah.
And that's a learning of me right now. I knew it was a problem before, but like I didn't know how to assess that. I was just like, well, there's another issue. Let me just keep on pushing.
Add it to the pile.
Add it to it.
Yeah.
Just add it to it.
Yep.
But like now it's just like, you have to earn it.
Yeah.
I was like, you want soft, you want love, you want cariños, you want like all that type of stuff. Well, what you about to do to get it?
Facts.
And that's not meaning like, oh, you need to drop these bills, you need to do this and that. No, there's just a structure that needs to be had.
Facts.
Like there needs to be a connection. There needs to be security. There needs to be like, like I need to know that when I come home that we're good. Like I'm not have to worry about this, that, and the other. Like
facts.
That's it. And then I was like, I could give you
facts,
that energy to you.
Yeah, you have rules of engagement. Standards for entry. It's like, no, you don't get to just come in here on some bullshit and expect the glory of what I have to offer.
And the glorious part about it is I never understood any of this when I was younger, but I always kind of was in that realm.
Yeah.
I did slip off because, like I said, I went with the world and was like, oh.
Slip off from be more and to be.
Oh my God. Force myself to be submissive even though it wasn't deserved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like get yourself out of your own character and your own being, because you're just like, well, I think this is what's supposed to be done because this is what's shown everywhere else.
Facts.
Because you have no positive confirmation that who you are or how you feel and all that type of stuff is good.
Yeah, and why should women be submissive? And most men if men are trash, like, no, you can't submit. You submit to God, and you submit to God and man, and that's it. If he ain't God, you ain't submit to that shit. You calling him out and getting his ass in order, right? Seriously, that's it. Yeah, and so like for the expectation that women should just be submissive, like to what, nigga? To what? To what?
What
Give me something to submit to.
I was like, what?
Give me
I was like, there needs to be,
facts.
when we talking about the exchange last time, that exchange of energy, there needs to be that positive exchange. Like it's not a tit for tat. It's like I said, a balance. So where's that balance? Where are we connecting? On what level are we intellectually, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally? Like where are we?
Ooh.
Where are we?
Facts, man. Super facts.
And it's just like,
good
but that's what
question.
made me so different from when I was younger. I was like, all y'all doing all these different things. I'm like, I don't understand it.
Nonsense.
And I was trying to understand it. So I lived through it and was like, this ain't for me.
No, hell no.
I was like, I
No,
can't.
no. I can't
do
with
it.
this. I can't with this. Y'all on some bullshit. Y'all on some
do it.
bullshit. Yeah.
I don't know what level y'all on, but I'm
It's
not
not.
there.
It's not for me. And I wasn't
That
even.
took me some years.
It took. Oh, hell yeah! It took me my whole going into adulthood to realize I don't have to try to be a part of that. It's good, and it's good that I'm not a part of that because this is a lifestyle that's not. It's not a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of sense gratification and drugs and debauchery and like no discipline. That's really what it comes down to. No discipline, no self awareness to who you really are, and it's good.
I think that no self-awareness attaches to not being disciplined and all that type of stuff, because it's just like you don't necessarily have love or care for yourself.
Facts.
And you don't necessarily know how that looks like either. And it's just like
Facts.
that's when I go back to like not having judgment, because I was there even though I knew. I think inside of me I knew, but I didn't know how to articulate it, and I had nobody by me that spoke that same language.
Yeah.
Like I still fell into it. So
Yeah.
for me to have something
I think it was more, and pardon me if I get this wrong, but
go
you were
ahead.
like acting as not like a part of it, but like acting like you were one of the people
Yeah,
that were actually
yeah.
like part of the
Okay,
game.
so like
You know
no,
what
I
I'm
didn't
saying?
fall into it
Yeah,
because
you-
I
you
was like, I
pretended. You were
knew I was
fronting.
hella pretending.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
fuck
I
yeah.
was hella pretending.
Yeah.
It was so trash.
Yeah. And that urge to pretend
trash.
is strongest in high school.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that is high school, right? That desire to be popular. So that's what the popular kids are doing. Okay, well, how do I do to get them to like me? And that's the game of high
You know
school.
what's so funny is that I think I believe that if I was more confident in myself and I had higher self-esteem, like I'd be dancing circles around people without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I just,
In present time, like right now, or back then?
or even back then,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, I'm so grateful that I got here now,
Of course.
because it's so much more meaningful now to like get to that place of like reaching my peak versus
Yeah.
reaching your peak in high school and then be like, I have no idea where I'm going after this.
Yeah.
Like,
You know those people that reach their peak in high school.
I
and
know,
you go back
but
home
it's
and you
so
see it.
sad.
It's
But
very-
they still have lots of potential. You reached that in high school, bro. Like you can keep going. Like you just have to redirect yourself.
Thanks.
But like it's, I don't know. Oh, what I was gonna say is, so what I learned, a little bit. I was like reading a little bit and I watched the video before I came. But it said feminine.
The conception video?
No, it was the feminine. It was about feminine energy.
Man, you did your homework. Damn.
Bro,
Good for you.
I didn't
You
even
are.
dive that deep, so don't give me too much credit.
Sad.
Like
But
I
you
didn't get a
actually-
chance
But you
to
actually
really dive.
thought about it. 'Cause I was just like,
no.
Okay, well, shit, let's talk about this.
No,
Cool.
well,
All right,
because
cool. Good for
you know, I had you in mind because
Yeah.
I always thought like from the first time that I ever came on the podcast, like you were really like structured. You had like your books and stuff like that. I'm like, he
true.
reads. I was like,
This is true.
let me do better. Let me
Yeah.
bring my best self. So let me at least have some sort of information or some sort of, ground to step on. So what I was learning was like feminine energy is naturally nurturing and it's naturally a creator. Like we create life,
create
right?
life.
And,
Yeah.
and so it's like some of the things is just like, if you want to bring that out of you, is like you could get tapped into nature.
Yeah.
Go back into Mother Nature, you know what I mean? Embrace yourself and immerse yourself into that, having plants and stuff like that around you. And then another, I didn't get far enough, but the second thing that was brought up is like, they brought up softness, but in the sense of when you get into an experience, and this reminded me of last time, when you get into an experience where you're triggered or somebody's doing something or saying something that like really is rubbing you the wrong way,
Yeah.
do different. Don't react. Step back and don't react to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was just like, the pure power in that, because I've done that recently and my relationships have changed so much. Let's say for like with my dad,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's been a huge change. And there's been a couple times that I've almost baited him. Not intentionally. I was just not really like trying to be too involved. So I was gonna allow myself to just go into the bait and then be like, all right, I gotta go. Like, you know what I mean? Like have an excuse to kind of like go.
Yeah.
And because me and him haven't always had a great relationship. So especially like through my teenage years and then like early adulthood, it's just recently that I've just been like, you know what? Bygones be bygones.
No sisters, right?
No sisters.
Oh,
no.
wow. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bygones be bygones. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna move forward. I was like, I know what I can do is that if I need to, I just separate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm grown. I could do
true.
that with whatever experiences that I don't agree with or I'm not comfortable with or puts me in a negative space. I don't have to react or interact with them anymore. So I started putting myself in that wavelength. So then I was working with him, and when I was a kid, working with him was not a pleasant thing. It was very like verbally abusive, and maybe in his mind it wasn't. Like maybe in his mind, you know, he was trying to get something done, being impatient, you know, his own feelings, he's his own person. So in his own experience, he would act out, and it was negative for us as kids. And so now when like I go and have experiences to work with them, I'm very like kind of like, okay, like how quickly can we do this? And is there a way that I don't have to, you know, do for too long? Because I really don't want it to get to that place.
I understand.
But it's just like there was a moment where he almost did it, but the universe got him twice.
Almost snapped?
He started getting the attitude with me. And like it was cool because he would say stuff to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. All right. Like, not that he was saying anything bad, but like he would like say stuff and I'd be like, I'm not gonna get into it. He's like, so you're just gonna keep ignoring what I'm saying, or you're just gonna keep going? I was like, I really don't desire to talk about it. So yeah, like kind of basically. And then he was like, oh, okay. So then there was something, he was trying to explain something to me, and he started getting frustrated because I wasn't understanding. I was like, well, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, and I don't know how to do this. So you can get mad, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so you're not teaching correctly. And then he was like, it's just like this. And then he gets up and we're doing cement. And he accidentally like throws his little cushion into the cement that we just smoothed over.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I was like,
when was this?
Last night.
Oh, nice.
And then I was
Driveway?
like,
You guys are like putting...
oh yeah, so we're not a driveway, walk path.
Nice.
A walk from the gate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was helping him do that and mixing it and like putting
Nice.
it down and smoothing it out and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, I learned a new skill,
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah,
I was like,
Is he a
super
contractor?
dope.
Is that what's
My
his...
dad is dope. He is so knowledgeable about so many different things. He knows. He's like self-taught on working on cars.
Nice.
He's so my grandfather actually owned a business in Compton, like a large business. It was like a Home Depot before Home Depot.
Oh, that's right.
existed.
Yeah. What's it called?
It was Buyer's Corner.
Nice.
Yeah. So he was super dope.
His father.
Yes, his father.
Okay.
So they worked in like construction around that sort of environment. So like they have that with him. And then my dad is like an experienced welder.
Nice.
So
okay.
like so like I said, my dad's super knowledgeable. He's super dope. So that's why I'm just like the great qualities is like my dad's super intelligent. Like he's so informed about so many different things. And then, you know, he has this knowledge about other things that don't align with mine.
I understand.
You know what I mean? And so within that experience, he drops it in there and it hits, and he was like, oh, and it hits him. And then I looked at him, I was like, that's what you get. I was like, you was trying to get mad at me, and then look at you.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, and then immediately his like energy changed. Like he didn't go into it. He just kind of laughed and was just like,
right.
you know,
you're right.
I just need to slow down. And he like put it to the side. And it was just like, but that was such a different experience than when I was a kid. He was like, oh, you know, that wouldn't have happened if you would have been listening to like sort of thing. And you're just like,
yeah, you did it, bro. You did it yourself.
What?
Bro. We know you fucked up, man. Don't put me in this. You fucked up.
How many times have you probably did that to your kids?
Oh, God. Oh, countless already. Countless.
Bro, that mess, when I realize it after I do it, it hurts my feelings. I would cry and I was like, oh God, I can't believe I just
Yeah.
it's trash. But that's
It's
why
trash.
like also I say that like I try my best to I've been doing a lot less because now obviously they could replay the things that I tell them. So um, like I have to really work on my words and verbalizing how I'm feeling or things like that to communicate them. But I want them to be able to communicate. Like that's one of my goals is to teach my children how to communicate in any state that they're in because it's imperative.
Yes.
So many like
communication is imperative.
it is
Yes.
it's
Facts.
imperative. So it's just
Facts.
like I was like all this stuff you're acting out, you're screaming, you're doing all this type of stuff. Did the situation change? Does mommy understand where you're coming from? Do we have any dialogue? Did it help you to create a different environment for yourself? Like any of these things? Or do you feel more frustrated? Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're just this. And like just giving them like, oh, I am sleepy. And like sometimes my daughter be like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I just feel really sleepy.
Oh, man.
And it's just like,
yeah.
it's like that's the biggest things. Like I'm learning now, like about like if you're mineral deficient, if you're tired, if you're dehydrated, you are not thinking correctly.
Facts.
Your brain and your body is not functioning and it's probably misfiring on so many levels.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how are you going to interact with a person at that level?
Yeah.
You're going to be hitting walls.
Yeah.
And you're both going to get frustrated and you're both going to be screaming at each other. You're both going to be acting out.
Yeah.
Nothing gets resolved. And we're already talking about not knowing how to resolve anything in the first place.
Facts.
So how about we just we have to reteach ourselves.
Facts. Oh, man.
We have to relearn all these different things that got us to this point and thank them. That was the thing that we were talking about earlier about throwing the stuff in the fire. That was one of the critical parts. You had to thank it for what it gave and provided you during that time and not be like, well, bump you, get away from here.
Yeah.
It's thank you.
Yeah.
Because you got me to this place that I am right now.
Yeah.
But I know you're no longer serving where I need to go anymore.
Absolutely.
And being okay with that. And being like, okay, well, now you write yourself a letter like, or a note of what you want. Or affirmations. Or like, what are you trying? So the first one was to release. And the other one's like, what do you want to gain back? What do you want to pull to yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that one you kept.
Understood.
So it's just like, I close stuff. It just,
Yeah, I understand. No. And that's why I don't force my hand. I like try to keep low key tabs on it, but it does usually come full circle. Comes full circle. It always comes back around. So I don't have to. Yeah, just
like
because how flow works. Yeah, you just go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Yeah.
But no, I still appreciate people that could get you back on track though, because it's very much needed.
Yeah,
but
yeah. And then people who are mindful of time and just
we late.
No, not at all. Okay. No, we're good. We're good. But it's I like just knowing like part of like being it's a conductor. It's like okay, the trains run on time. The conductor makes sure okay, we got to be here. We leave at this specific time, and that's all I got to do. Just make sure. Just conscious of the time people are. At the time it takes to say certain stuff. The expectation of she's about to explain this. Okay, that's gonna take. That's a long one. Okay, cool. That's a long one. Oh yeah, you're just being aware of the dynamics of conversation and human nuances. Just being aware of human beings, period. Which is how we interact with each other. So by being a conductor of conversation, you really start learning the nuances of human thought, human activity, and it carries over into other elements of your life and really how you handle other human beings, whether physically in fighting or physically in having a conversation outside of or giving a report or communicating. But you get something big with when you're faced with situations where you feel that impulse to lash out or react. Don't do it. And I'm talking to myself, but I'm reading what you just said because like when you're always in do mode, like you and I, just always doing shit, and it's very easy for us to react and just shut it down or do whatever we do to get back to doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that now I'm realizing just even with my my children, when it's just me, 3 children. 2, 7, and 4, and I'm trying to get stuff done. Like, dude, I'm not like chilling out and being like, oh, hey, what actually happened? Let's talk about it. I'm just like, shut the fuck, y'all need to shut up. Shut up time. Shh. Go over there. Go run outside. Go play in the street. Just shut up. Leave me alone. So now I'm like, all right. We were talking about earlier is like a man cannot. I can only do so much. Like, how am I going to build a podcast empire? How am I going to build a plant empire? How am I going to do farming? And I don't have stability. I don't have the order at home doing everything by myself. So now I'm like, okay, I've got to establish my base for my roots to flourish, which means I need to confront all of the things that I don't want to look at about why my base is in this condition. So,
and the thing is, it's like, why are you doing all this for? Or who are you doing all this for?
For real.
So if we sit there and like, sometimes I feel like our kids are like, you need to take a break. You need to take a break.
Facts.
Come take a break with us.
Yeah.
And the more times that I've allowed myself to actually peacefully go ahead and take a break with them has made my mind, I feel like, unify. And I could come back with a calmer mindset.
Nice. When you took a break.
Yeah, with them.
Man.
It's like, but authentically, like, take a break. Like, because there's times when you'd be like, okay, let me go go do this with you.
Yeah, just go do
so that I could come back and go do what I need to do. And then you'd be like rushing the situation. And then it's just like.
Or on your phone doing stuff while you're doing stuff. Yeah, I already.
Do you know the part that gets my heart every single time? But I'm grateful that I'm learning it now while they're young versus when they're like 25, 30, and I'm over here like 80 and be like, oh, my babies are so grown up. It's like, you have this one day, right? Every single day is a new day. But you're never going to get this day back with them. Right? You're never going to get this day, this moment back with them, this laughter and all that type of stuff. Soon they become preteens, and depending on the type of relationship that you've been building up or neglecting until that point will determine perhaps what type of friends they have, if they'll listen to you and communicate with you and all that type of stuff at that age. And it's just like they start to belong to, depending on how you raise them, to the world, or still in balance with you, or with you not at all. So it's just like having to keep all this in mind. Like, being a parent is a glorious thing, but it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And all the experiences that we had with our parents, even if they were positive or negative, like, take what you can and leave what you can't, like what you can't do, but learn.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, your sole point of trying to do any of this is for them.
It's for them. So you're going to neglect them to serve them. And that fucked up?
It don't make sense.
It don't make sense. And it's funny. My daughter is always telling me, Daddy, you're always on your phone. Daddy, you're always doing stuff. You're like, you never talk. And I've always been like, yeah, but I got to do this for you. Daddy has to do this, right? It's insanity.
Shoot, my dad used to be like, I have to go way to work for you. What kind of weird F them, like, damn, so like, I don't get to have a father because he's trying to do something for me?
Oh, man. Yeah.
How does that work? You know what I mean?
Like, wow. That's literally what we were indoctrinated into, that thinking. It's like, I need to separate from my children for them. Wow.
And then what are you teaching them? You're not like, it's not like you're like, hey, let's go do, like, one thing I like that you said on one of our podcasts is that, like, I think you said your daughter helps you make certain things for your business, right?
Yeah.
So like, that part is like, maybe we just need to learn how to incorporate them.
To make our children like, part of our corporation, our own work. What do we do? Okay, what can you do? How can you help me?
Even if it's small, be like, oh, can you organize Daddy's desk? Oh, can you go move that? It's like helping them have that connection to you,
as opposed
to
doing
stuff
on the TV.
Yeah,
right. To distract them while you do.
Oh, bro, understand. I am not an advocate for TV.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, my kids might watch a movie every once in a while. We might have movie night once a week.
Yeah.
But it's normally stories on audio or like music.
Yeah.
Because the reason I stop every single time is always because they get glued to the TV.
Yeah.
They can't hear nothing. They get emotionally distraught once it gets shut off. And you're just like, what the heck is going on?
Absolutely.
And it's
All
just
this
like,
is-
this
man.
doesn't make any sense. And then on top of this, it's just like their eyes be watering because they're like, it's just like, nah,
they're transfixed. Like it's
Yes.
programming. It's programming. So
I swear
they're
that
getting-
it's worse than when we were kids. I
It's
feel like I
bad.
remember our parents talking about it, but I don't know if it was this bad.
It's bad. Have you seen YouTube, like YouTube kid videos? It's gross. Like it just seems like it's very much like it's literally here to transfix your child and to brainwash them and like put in whatever think of the show, but what are you really putting into their brains? What ideas? And I'm like, man, if you wanted to really get some insidious ideas, you would do it through children's programming.
Oh, because visual and they're young.
Facts.
And then a lot of times they don't realize what's going on.
No.
What's cool, have conversations with your kids. I'm going to tell you 100% create a safe, comfortable place where your kids could come back and talk to you.
Yeah.
They will ask you the most interesting, sometimes the scariest questions, but I'd rather know than not know. And you be able to explain to them from your parental experience.
Absolutely.
Like even my kids like asking like about, okay, babies. They didn't ask where do babies come from. They just asked, how are babies in your belly? Like what does that look like? And just wanting to keep learning. And it's just like if you learn, like it's beautiful that your daughter comes up to you and be like, oh, you're always on your phone.
Yeah.
You're always like this.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to bring your awareness to it.
Facts.
And that she's not right as of yet, she hasn't been discouraged to stop talking to you about it.
Yeah.
You know, because she just like, whatever, and just go on about herself. But it's just like, life is gonna keep going. And that's not to say, okay, don't do anything, but it's, I don't know, make that time. Like
Facts.
It's so critical.
No, I think since you brought this up, I was
Okay,
like,
go
oh,
ahead.
what is the solution? And I was like, prioritize the relationship with your children first.
Yes.
Period. Before the work, figure out, okay, how do I put them first? And it's going to take, because the thing is, we get into, especially Capricorns, we get into this routine of doing this. Oh, I did it this way yesterday, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm wake up this time, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to make oatmeal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it in front of the TV. I'm going to get my work done. I'm going to send my emails. I'm going to do. So instead of thinking like that, it's like, okay, well, how can at each of these steps, how can I relate with my children? Okay, how can we wake up, read a story? Can we make oatmeal together? Can we do that? Can we go outside and walk before we get some work? We'll like sit down and watch them play and then talk to them while I'm working. I think it's because at the end of the day, work has to get done. We can't just not do stuff because it's irresponsible and income has to be made. But the question then becomes, how do I incorporate them around me while I must do multiple things to get what I need and get them involved with me? That's the question. Yeah.
I mean, you gave some really great examples.
Yeah.
The best times I have had is, and not to be rushing through those experiences.
There we go. That's big.
That's going to be
huge.
ginormous.
Yeah.
But then that's the preparation part of you being an adult, right?
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm still working on. That's the part I'm like, I'm really not great at organization.
Yeah.
I mean, I can like organize stuff on paper, but like physically in my life, I have a difficult time. And then once everything, I'm like, my brain.
Yeah.
And not having everything play out in my mind while I'm also trying to participate in a positive experience.
Real. Yeah.
So
you're running through like all these scenarios with all the shit you got to do. It's like, okay, well, I do this. You're calculating the cost of playing with your child.
Right.
God.
Which is gross, right?
Gross. It's gross. It's like, yeah, I could play with you, but fuck, that means I can't send this email when I want to send it, and I don't like you right now. Really.
I just like, no, really, this
Really?
is what, no, seriously. I was like, you start growing that resentment, and I'm just like, nah,
resentment.
that's not cute,
It's
because
not
I
cute.
truly love being a parent. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have, I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna have to healthily, physically figure this out.
Yeah.
But that not setting ourselves up to fail. Like I was telling you earlier about like creating the list.
Yeah.
So having a to-do list and not cramming it
Yeah.
with all these different things, but like realizing like how do you cohesively, it's a lot of relearning and rearranging.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a trial and error. You're going to have to try to figure stuff out, and you're going to have to give yourself grace and not have guilt, and or learn how not to have guilt, and go back to stuff that might trigger you.
Not having
practice.
Right. I think that's the word. 'Cause that's actionable. It's like practice. It means it's daily. You practice daily for something that you want to gain mastery in. Practice not having guilt.
Well, one of the things too is like, you know, I was asking you like, okay, do you have free time on your own? And you're like, well, I'm always working. Like even when you're not working, you're working.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, then work on yourself.
Facts. Yeah.
Take that time to work on yourself. If that means that you need to watch a couple videos to get you started, or take all the things that you have so much knowledge. Like, honestly, I actually meant to come on this podcast and just ask you all the questions.
I understand.
But I'm a talker, so I ended up talking.
I understand.
Next time. But like you have so much knowledge, and not just because you have all those books over there, but because anytime I've seen you, you're normally reading a book. And it's just like, you have to put that stuff in practice. Like, it's great for you to have all this information, to have a dialogue about it. But how are you putting it in practicality in your life? Like, how are you using it? Yeah. On your day-to-day basis? Seriously. If it's not helping you, what's the point of it taking up space in your mind?
Seriously. No, good question. What is the point? It's not being applied. And what I'm realizing, what inhibits my ability to apply my intelligence to craft solutions for my children to have healthy relationships and get shit done at the same time, is this fear that if I don't do it a certain way, the way I've been indoctrinated in this, it's the work culture, it's American work culture, that if I don't do it this way, then I'm going to fail and I'm not going to have enough resources to maintain my family. So in order...
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a stressor.
That's what, and that's what it comes down to. So I allow my decisions to be driven by this carnal fear of failure and not having enough resources. And by doing that, I'm starving my children from the real need of having a healthy relationship with their father during the day.
And another thing on top of that is learning about... I think manifestation sounds scary sometimes. But our inner dialogue directs our life, right? And directs our reality. Yeah. So if we're constantly saying that, oh, if we don't do this, if we don't do that, we're going to fail. Or because we did this, we did that, we're failing. Yeah. That's what's going to keep happening, is that we're failing. Oh, and God. All this God and all this, higher space and all this stuff that we say that we trust in, we don't truly trust in it. Because that you'll put in the work, right? Obviously, you're showing that you put in the work and that you're dedicated. Yeah. So you can make it happen. But does it have to be at the cost that you're told, like you're saying, right? That we're indoctrinated to. And it's just like, you're going to get it done. So I think we work around work when we should be working around our kids and our family. Yeah. And creating that sort of dynamic. And facts. And not to say that it's going to be a simple fix, because trial and error. Yeah, trial and error. And also ridding ourselves of the need to follow what routine we've been following for years. My routine is no routine. So I'm trying to restructure that into some organization. Yeah. But like, that's all to say, is like, in each person's life, you have to assess your own experience. Like, we might have similarities. Yeah. But the way we do things is different because we grew up different. But we might have similar traumas, which makes us one. Yeah, we understand each other. Yeah. But at the same time, the way we work might be a little different. And we just have to organize and work around that. But if you know that your goal is for your kids to be happy, for them to feel loved, for them to have a great future, for them to learn business and all this type of stuff so that they can, or farm or whatever it is, we have to be able to like teach them that now. You know what I mean? Like, all they see you is on the phone and on the computer and all this type of stuff, but they don't know what you're doing. Yeah. You could just pick them up and be like, oh, hey, like, they might not be interested, but you could still, like, my kids, she's so great. I have an iBook that's like, tells you about your irises and
an
your,
iBook. Yeah. Not an internet book. An iBook.
An
Yeah.
iBook.
An iBook.
No, literally a book about eyes.
iBook. Yeah. Nice.
I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is I really am not too much into technology like that. I have it, but it's like whatever. I was like reading it, and I like physical books now. I used to not be a reader. I used to hate reading. I do not really see me picking up a book unless it's super interesting. But I like it because it's just like I could just pick it up whenever I want, and I don't have to be attached to the phone, because every time I look at other people attached to the phone, kind of just like gives me this like
yeah. Like, yeah, that's the look. It's like,
I'm like,
look
why?
look at that. So just glued to their phone. We're the same. We're the same motherfucker. We're the same motherfucker.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
And then but I was reading it, and she looked at me and she was like, well, what are you reading? And I was like, oh, it's just a book about eyes, And she's like, well, read it to me. And I was like, no, you're not going to understand. She's like, but I want to know. I want to learn. And I was like, okay. So I started reading it. She was somewhat interested at first, and then I started saying things, and she was like, well, I don't know anymore. And then she like dipped out. But it was her choice to dip out.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at least you acknowledged the fact that they were interested. You provided, mind you, I'm learning.
You rewarded you rewarded their curiosity.
Yes. And then if they go back to it, she always is like, oh, that's my book. Can you read that book?
Damn.
And I have yet to like read it again to her because I don't have any time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I keep telling myself. But then I was just like, the times where I tell myself I have all the time in the world and I breathe into myself.
Yeah.
Like I really believe it.
Yeah.
Like fully within my body. Like I could feel like my shoulders come down. I could deep breathe. I can't always do it. But in those moments that I do, and I'm like, I have more than enough time, I swear the day goes slower. It's all conception.
Absolutely.
But is that the right word?
Perception.
Yeah. It's all perception.
Man.
There was literally an episode about it. I think I'm like, it's on Netflix. I kind of like the show.
Understood. The show is called Perception?
No.
Do a show.
What?
Yeah.
I'll have to text it to you.
Well, I'm
name.
glad you said it. A lot of our actions are predicated on the lie that I don't have enough time. No, it's not. That's never the truth. Ever. You create time. Time is motion. So you create time with what you're doing. So if you want the time, you have to create the time. Just like we created the time tonight to create this podcast. Right? So yeah. And I'm really going back. It's like everything, my whole day is structured around not having enough time. It's like I need to do all this or else I'm not going to have enough time.
So do you have enough time?
Yes, I have enough time. I have.
No. Like, so you said that it's structured around you not having enough time. So like
that pressure
on a day to day, like do you actually at the end of the day be like, I didn't have enough time to complete that?
No.
How do you feel at the end of the day?
I feel like every day I feel like I need to be doing more. Oh God!
So what are you trying to fulfill?
I don't even know. Just like
think about it. Just think about it.
Oh man!
Think about it. When's the first moment that you felt in your life that you had to be doing something, or something needed to be done?
Homework in school.
Homework in school.
Yeah. That's pretty much when I got I got to do this. Yeah.
Why?
Because if I don't, I'll get in trouble.
Why would you get in trouble?
Because the teacher will give me a bad mark. I'll get a bad grade.
And what's that represent to your parents?
It was more about what it represented. I didn't want to fuck up at school. Yeah, I wanted to be the best in school.
Why?
Because I had this fear of not being enough. So I feel I had to prove that I was more than enough. I had to outperform everyone else.
Mm.
Yeah.
And where does that stem from?
Feelings of insecurity rooted in the fact that I didn't really feel like I belonged in this world. And the feeling of not belonging it goes back to kindergarten. It's like I knew I was different. I never felt comfortable in this civilization. So I've always felt, well, if I'm not comfortable in the civilization, I've got to somehow outperform my environment to show that I'm worthy.
That you're a necessity. So that they need to keep you.
Boom. Yes. damn. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I feel you. I've been there.
Yeah. Man.
Mine comes from taking care of everybody else before myself.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do that, then people would find out that I wasn't worth it.
Oh, I understand.
So, and that's something that just came to my realization recently.
Yeah.
Like probably in the past week or two.
That this reliance on taking care of others before yourself.
That my value in myself before was dependent on how I was able to be there for somebody else or take care of somebody else, or I was valuable, so they couldn't throw me away. So they needed me. So I had to be fulfill needs.
Yeah.
In order
your
to
value as a human being was predicated on your utility for others. They could plug you in and like, oh, you're here for me. And that's your value because I could use you for me. Yeah?
Somewhat like that, yeah.
Okay.
So like that was, yeah. So I could understand that like plugging in, I'm sure there's like a lot of people that get to that place. It's a trip to like think like, oh, in kindergarten.
Yeah.
At 5 years old, you created a space, a coping mechanism that became a defense mechanism that brought you to be here today.
Yep.
So that you could keep going.
Yeah.
Based off of, I guess, what your environment was telling you.
When you said defense mechanism earlier, that triggered me. Like, it's like, yeah, like that's something in me was like, yeah, bro, that's you. Listen to what she's saying because you're nothing but defense mechanism. You're operating on defense mechanism, and you're so defensive that you're not making forward progress because you're worried about playing defense and protecting yourself in an environment. When that's one side, your actions are doing that, but your intentions are saying, go out and build a civilization. You can't build in defense mode. You can only protect in defense mode, protect what you have, but you don't have anything. You have children, but you don't have, you're playing a game that's antagonistic to your objectives. The game you're playing is defense. Your objectives are offense. So you need to be doing stuff and not protecting your own trauma. Protecting your own, no, it's not trauma, it's wounds. It's wounds, because trauma is when you poke the wound. It's like, no, you have the open flesh wounds that you're protecting because you don't want to re-stimulate those wounds. So you're blocking off all your avenues for executing what you truly want to accomplish to protect yourself. That's what's happening. A lot of us, but especially me. It's just there's some lanes I can excel in, the other lanes like no. I'm not. And I'm also once you realize it's like what I'm realizing is like the pressure I feel is I'm at the point where, bro, you've been here before, lifetimes. You've been to this point, and you're at the point where you many lifetimes where instead of confronting the reality, you ran away. You're not gonna do this shit again. And I'm telling, this is me talking to me. It's also God. So it's like the deal I made with God is like, don't let me fuck up, bro. Just do what you got to do. Take things away from me. Make sure I'm not going to repeat these bullshit lifetimes. So where I leave this body, have to come back and be like, and do it all over again.
Well, so what's the lesson you need to learn?
Stop operating on fear. Stop operating in defense mode. And if you say you're a man of faith, which I do proudly profess, but then how am I going to be a man of faith and then operate on fear-based object
or lacking?
Yeah, or lack. Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. So that means you're really not of faith. It means you're of fear, and fear is a weapon of Satan. So it's like, now who are you playing for? For real? for real, because you're out here talking the God talk, but now like you,
And this is where I'm gonna tell you to give yourself some grace because you haven't been taught.
facts.
So yes, we've read these books, but how do we apply it?
That's a good question.
If we haven't experienced anybody near us that, was supposed to, essentially teach us these things, but they have their own life that they're going through, their own experiences, their own traumas, and they're teaching you through all this and don't have any of this knowledge, right? About all these different experiences and how it impacts you today, right? So they just went on about their lives. You know what I mean? Because if I didn't know any of this information or had child development before anything that got me interested or valued life, you know what I mean? Like I would be working differently in this life. And so we have to give ourselves the grace and the patience to realize that it's a lesson, what the lesson is, what are our solutions, what are the techniques that we could use to help us make it through this. Because I could tell you, go face all of that stuff. Go face all those wounds. Where are you going to be?
Yeah.
Where are you going to be? You might end up worse.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Because you don't have the techniques.
Don't have the technology, the tools.
The tools.
Yeah,
the tools to get yourself back out of it.
Facts.
Because you're not supposed to sit in it.
That's right.
You're just supposed to reflect on it.
That's right.
See how it impacted you.
Facts.
And then move forward.
Facts.
They are not here anymore.
Facts. No.
You are not in that moment anymore.
You're operating on literally your responses to how you operated to the trauma in the first place. So you're dramatizing what the same shit that you've already been through because you see it, and instead of like learning from it, you're living in it. Don't
relive it.
You're reliving in it, and then you're reacting from that, reliving that trauma, and you're repeating the same stuff. There's a lot of times. So my past track trauma, like I know for a fact, like especially with heartbreak and like relationships, it's like I instead of assessing my situations with other people, my significant other, my children in real time, I'm operating on faulty programming. The same programming that got me into the situation that I'm currently in, because I haven't shaken them, because I haven't been willing to look. And the thing is, it's not that the trauma, because trauma implies that something happened to you. It's the shit that you've done. You know what I'm saying? That too. And it's taking the responsibility for all the stuff, not that happened to you, but what you have caused to others. So you got to view karma as like a strand of DNA. Like everything that has happened to you, you had it coming. Everything that's happened. So you deserve everything you get in life. And it's hard for a lot of people to come to that realization. So what's very difficult for people to process their trauma is not looking at the appropriate counterpart of what did I do to deserve this situation that I put myself in. And so that's what makes it difficult to look back, is because it's very easy to look back and be like, oh, he hit me. He cheated on me. Easy. Anyway, we all do that. What's difficult to be like, what did I do to deserve that? Or what did I do before that to put myself in a situation to earn that result? That's the hard part.
Man.
That's very difficult to do that, to take responsibility.
Accountability, like even on the simplest form. So like sometimes we could ignore flags, right? Red flags.
Yeah.
And that could be why we're in a situation.
Facts.
It's just, we were just like, well, I just decided to pretend that they didn't exist.
Facts.
And to keep moving forward.
Facts.
So, or I decided not to communicate.
Yeah.
Or not to learn how to communicate.
Facts.
And now I'm where I'm at.
Yeah.
And that's like huge.
Yeah.
In relationships. I had a relationship where like the way they were moving just seemed so drastically different.
Yeah.
From where I was at. But it's like, now that I'm here, I'm just like, it really wasn't. But it still helped me to become open and not open, like more receptive to newer information. Because when I was younger, especially in my early 20s, I was really like stuck on my own perceptions. Like, no, this is the reality.
Yeah.
This is it. That there's nothing else. And I was very hard to like kind of weave off of that, like very stubborn. And when I was younger, I don't think I was as bad. I would have my feelings about stuff, but I think like I was more formidable. But then when I got in my early 20s, I was like, nah, this is what it is. This is what it is. Especially when I got in a relationship, I was like, nope.
Yeah.
This is the line. And then after that relationship ended, I was like, oh, okay. Well, things are a bit different than I anticipated them to be. And your whole world gets rocked. And then you're like, oh, there's a life outside of all this. And then you meet somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they open your mind even more, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Depending on what place that you're at and what you're looking for, what you call to you. I don't know, man. Everything. Do you struggle with like looking at things in a more like negative or pessimistic viewpoint?
Do I struggle with looking at things negatively?
Okay, like are you more like a cup half full or cup half empty type? I guess it's like the easier question.
It depends on who I'm looking at. Yeah. if I have beef with that person and I have antagonistic feelings, then I'm definitely half empty.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I can understand that. But I mean, like, what about life?
Half full for sure.
Half full.
I pretty much was like, yeah.
It's like I was always like a secret optimistic person.
Yeah.
But like outwardly pessimistic, but inwardly like optimistic.
Oh yeah, it'll be fucking fine. Yeah, it'll be fine.
But like, I was just wondering because I know it's all dependent on my mood. I could be like super like everything's gonna be all right, guys. Yeah. Other times I'm like, nah, bro, everything sucks.
Yeah.
Everything's trash.
Yeah. No, and there's some days where I feel like that. Yeah, and it's.
We should check out the moon.
Yeah, facts. That does. Changes in the moon do affect how you feel about reality itself, and what I'm noticing the fact that the reason why that I wake up feeling like, oh, I could conquer the day, or I'm not shit today, has everything to do with the fact that all of this past track shit, all of this trauma that I'm not. That's that. It's like sometimes I wake up in it, and that's you have these dreams where dreams are everything you're not looking at in present time in reality. So when you have a quote unquote bad dream, it's you and God talking to you about what you're not looking at and what you need to confront. And so what I'm noticing is by not my whole this lifetime, I've always had this, I guess, anxiety, just existential anxiety of like hand sweaty, like just always been that I've always covered up with not the need to do something. But I'm noticing that I'm running away from all of these failures, all of these things that I'm looking at, and I'm accumulating more failures. I'm accumulating more sins, omissions, et cetera, because I'm not dealing with what got me to this point. So I'm just fucking running and doing. And what sometimes I'll catch a wave of like good fortune, I'll catch a wave of good energy, and I'll be like, oh, I feel good. And then since for every action there's an opposite reaction, I'll catch that good wave, and then I'll be like, oh, and that same energy, it'll just be forced inward into all of my issues that I'm not looking at. So there's a cost to that, to riding that good energy. So now I'm in like the part where I'm that energy, that strong energy that I was using to accelerate creatively, now it's all forced inward to look at inwardly, to ask myself the question is, how do you deal with your trauma and your issues so you could always be accelerating and be nothing but pure intention? Because the reason you're not pure intention is because there is stuff that you are responsible that you are not looking at. And you're not looking at it because it is painful for you. But by not looking at it and you're causing yourself more pain and setting up more traps for the trajectory of you executing your potential. So that's what I've been realizing recently. It's like, man, niggas gotta look at that shit. And I'm no different. I'm no different. I am a human being.
You said I am no Derek.
I am no different. No. Also no Derek, but yeah, no different. And that's what I'm noticing is like, me and Timu had this conversation about this podcast. It's like we were telling everyone, it's like, no, we are not. We make it very clear, like we're talking to ourselves, which is why I listen to every episode intently, because I'm like, yeah, she's right. Damn it. that bar was for me. That bar was for me. And so what these were, they're more for their participants to really go back and be like, yeah, that was a good point. Okay, how am I actually? So now that it's on record for being public, it's like, how do I now apply what I clearly said everyone else should be doing? How do I hold myself accountable now? Because now it's on the record.
I feel you. I do want to say this though.
Yeah.
Don't let your heart get heavy.
Mm.
You're fully capable of everything that you want to complete. Your intentions are pure. You're trying to do this for your children.
Yeah.
And though sometimes you might feel like you're getting skewed, your intentions are still there. You're just flustered with life.
Yeah.
And you will make it through. All of these different things are a part of you, but aren't you. They don't make... You are more than the experience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And we can't keep speeding through everything.
Oof, man.
We need to slow down, whether that means, okay, no, I can't be with and focus on my kids every day, but once a week, we're going to do something family oriented and create my own traditions. This is all a new experience for all of us. And give yourself grace, please. For the both of us. Facts. Give yourself grace. Facts. Like, seriously, like, take a deep breath. Anytime you start to feel yourself starting to eat away at you and spit you back out on the floor, take a deep breath and just tell yourself, if it's the simplest thing you could do is just tell yourself, it's okay. I'm okay. Everything is okay. And just breathe into yourself. You have this beautiful music that you have playing. Like, utilize it. Like, really... take in whatever works for you that's positive and obviously doesn't harm you or anybody else. Have that help guide you and know that you don't have to rush to it. I know we're always trying to get to that final point of being like this, but let's say we are always going to be a work in progress.
Facts.
We're always for the rest of our life. There's
no finish line to life.
There is no finish line.
There's no finish line.
There is no perfection.
What are we running for?
Where are we running towards?
What are we running towards? There's no finish line.
Where are we going?
Yeah, especially if you don't. There's no finish line to infinity,
bro. Infinite. Just
damn. There's no fucking finish line to infinity.
Let's say my goal for myself, for my family, and for people is for us to love ourselves, to show our light and not dim it so that others can shine, for us to be happy and at peace and be able to look at things not as obstacles or like as anything like that, but like we can overcome and we can ride through, like, I don't know, and to listen. Yeah. To like listen to intuition, listen to like God, like be connected. Like, I just want to be connected. I don't know if this world is like, let's say this. I get this side of me that's like super optimistic of what this life is supposed to be or supposed to feel like, and how it's not supposed to be this hard and there's not supposed to be this, that, and the other. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know many things. I don't know a lot. Yeah. But I just feel that, I don't know, there's a place where love exists. And you can take your time and you're not rushing anywhere. And it's beautiful. It's peaceful. There's animals. There's people that smile. You're not in constant pain. People know how to people are healthy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And connected. We're not all trying to, I don't know, teach each other something. We just are. We just exist and we're not trying to be or do anything else.
We are. We be. are. That means present.
Yes.
Be. Not doing. Be.
Just be.
Just are.
Just be.
Yeah.
Like nothing is like, oh, I have to go do this, or I have to go do that.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that things don't happen. It's not that things don't happen. It's not saying that you don't have any responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not saying that you are not participating. It's not saying that, you know, you are like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. Like you are just a participant in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can go. How do I explain it? I don't know. It's just such a glorious, like peaceful place. It just there's no rushing anywhere. You're just be, and that's it. You participate in the way that you're supposed to. You give light. People give light. There's no miscommunications. You know, you could grab fruit off the tree. You could grab vegetables out the ground. Like nobody's fighting over food. Nobody's hungry. You know, like nobody's thirsty. We have an abundance of everything, and we all know that, and we are abundant. And there's no like, oh, because we have all of this, oh, we're gonna turn around and not know what to do with ourselves in several generations or something, and just go back. Like nobody's like looking for power. We're all
there we go.
Like we just are, like you're saying, like we just there. But that's just I don't know.
The function of life is just to be yourself. Yeah. All this everything else is bullshit.
You just fit in.
This is this whole rushing. Like, why rush? Now that you've mentioned this world, we've been there before. We've both been in environments where that was the norm. It was like we were just we were just us. We didn't feel the need to rush to go do stuff to get more stuff, or because something else is going to happen to us. Like we built that. That is the essence of. That's the nature of nature itself. So anything outside of that, the nature of nature itself is to be itself. If you're operating outside of your own beingness, you're operating outside of nature, and you're racked with anxiety. That's why we're anxious, because we're not acting as nature, the energy of the material unit. We're not acting. We're acting in a way that's antagonistic to energy itself. Yeah, we're going to be anxious because our whole paradigmatic way of thinking is based on doing stuff to be, when it's just be yourself. Do things as yourself, but do them because it's you and who you are, not for any other objective.
Do you love what you do?
What do I do. Yeah. Like when I'm in my element, like finance, like fuck yeah. Oh, I love this shit. Love that. I love fighting. I love selling. I love making money. Love selling plants. I love farming. I fucking love this shit. Absolutely. All day. I don't love. Yeah. Yeah. I don't love this way of thinking that I've put upon myself as an individual, thinking that I've got to do it all by myself. It's insanity. Driving myself crazy. and then be a single parent to 3 children. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You can't do this shit by yourself. Like, why would you think you could build a civilization and manage 3 children and rebuild the kingdom by But I wake up with those expectations. They're just, you just gotta fucking do it. So being a bitch. You're being a bitch. That's your problem. That's how I think. Doesn't work.
Because you're breaking yourself down.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
What do you do to affirm yourself?
I actually, like, into last year I started doing affirmations. I haven't been doing them this year. I should start doing affirmations again.
Do them with your kids.
Oh, that's a good idea.
No, do them with your kids.
Why do I exclude myself from my children from all like this?
Bro,
what the fuck is wrong with me?
No, stop. Stop.
You're right.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
You're right. No judgment.
Nothing's wrong with you.
Nothing's wrong with me.
You're perfectly where you need to be right now.
Yeah. I got the message. Got the message.
You're just supposed to learn the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you keep missing it, it's a problem.
Facts. And that line you just said right there, you're speaking to me this lifetime, but you're speaking to all the accumulation of all the things I've been missing. But so right now, you're speaking as God in that moment is like, no, don't miss it again.
I'm gonna send you a song.
Which one?
It's kind of a hype song, but it's about oh no, I can't play it on here. I forgot.
Yeah.
But I'll text it to you.
Yeah. Oh, and also, yeah.
Or I'll let you listen to it after the podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. No rushing, no chasing. What the fuck are you chasing? What are you chasing?
I'm gonna be real. Since I've been going through this transition for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
That whole question in itself has completely changed because all the things that I thought that I was going for has literally or feared has just been either pushed in front of me or to face, or just made it very difficult. If I kept having anxiety about it or stress about it, I was just not going to be able to be present as I needed to be anymore. And I was not going to be able to function. I probably would have just went into a deep depression. And
so what stopped you from going there?
Oh, my resilience.
Okay.
I could get to that point, and it could be God too, honestly. At my lowest point, anytime I do try to make it a point, I do make it a point to talk to Jehovah, thank him, thank the earth, the space, anything in existence, that I am able to have the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
And, always asking for guidance because it's critical because there's a lot going on.
Absolutely.
You can get very easily distracted.
Absolutely.
As we've been saying.
No, absolutely. And he's got me to the point where I literally have to always, I have to rely on him to get me through the day now. It used to be oh, I could call on you intermittently. Now I'm bro, I'm going through it, bro. Just get me through this moment. Get me through. I'm feeling a certain way. Just get me through it. That's where he wants us to be. Mm-hmm. And then no matter how hot it gets outside, the hotter it gets, it's just an opportunity to cling. All right, cool. I guess we're cuddling now. All righty. All right, cool. I hope you're comfortable, God. I mean, you made me do it. I was cool sleeping on the bottom bunk. Now I'm coming up. Now, okay. That's where he wants it. It's I got you, bro. But that is, can you imagine being that and then not having faith at all? Right? No, for real.
No,
and most of the world is like
lonely.
that. Yeah.
It was very lonely. It very is lonely. For me, it was lonely, and I didn't see any possibilities. I at least now get to that place where I'm just it just feels like the whole world is falling apart and I can't crawl out no matter how hard I try. And then it'll get to the point where all of a sudden I'll be oh my God, I'll just start having visions or thoughts of oh, to do this. Oh, we could do that. Oh, you know what? You maybe shouldn't be even worried about this anymore. What is that? I'll get to the place, you think of those people that have near-death experiences or, and then come back and they're just nothing freaking matters, bro. None of that's toss all that to the side. All that matters is love, or they'll go on psychedelics. It's all that matters is love. You know what? I'm just gonna go for what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And they have
I went through mine.
They have I don't know. I always think the people that are able to live out in nature are so dope, but are actually in most in at peace in nature. They go about their business. They know that there's certain things that they need to do and all that type of stuff, and they do them. And they get to sit back and just enjoy stuff. You know what I mean? And obviously in this life, there are maybe certain struggles, it gets a little bit colder than you thought, you know what I mean? But it's we're so adaptable. We're so moldable, right? I think you have to choose to just stay in one way and stay in one frame of mind or one situation. Like, we're so creative, all of us, even the people that don't think that they are.
Oh, everyone is.
And
everyone is God. So it's like, yeah,
it's
you
just
have that potential. Everyone has that potential in them.
to just, I don't know, I don't know. How would the world look if, I don't know. But I just ask for peace, guidance, and, protection over us. So enjoy.
Yeah. What do I usually? Recently it's been more of don't let me do anything stupid. Like, give me the courage to do what I need to do, but just please don't allow me to fall back into bad loops and have to relive.
Bro,
Yeah.
Look, what are you focused on?
Yeah.
You're going to bring yourself back.
Yeah.
You're going to bring yourself back because of what you keep telling yourself.
Absolutely.
If you believe that you're creating your own reality, the things that you're saying to yourself
Facts.
are going to end up repeating. And it's the same thing like with me. Like, I currently am always, there's a couple thoughts that are reoccurring that it's just like, why do you keep going there?
Why?
What is it that's keeping you? And that's like the whole trauma thing. Like, trauma or bad experiences are just like stuff that you just have not let go.
Yeah.
Right? Like, where are they stemming from? Where are they coming from? How do I get to my place of going past them? Like, my way of being able to help myself go through different things that may be difficult, because there have been sometimes I'm like, oh, if I go through, you're not reliving it. It's not there anymore. It's just emotionally, you need to release. Cry the mess out.
Yeah, for real.
Credit yourself like you would that 5-year-old self, 4-year-old self, 14-year-old self that got hurt feelings, that got this, that got told that, and all that stuff. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Go put on, face scrub. Go give yourself some self-care. Go give yourself some love. If you need to, like, breathe into yourself, love into yourself. Don't allow yourself, put a boundary that you cannot say any ill things towards yourself anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's simple stuff like that. Start building up those tools and mechanisms so that way when you get to those dark places, because you will get there.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah.
You're going to get there. Start building yourself up so that way when you get there, you're strong enough to handle it. Yeah. And you're smart enough to know that you don't have to stay there anymore.
Yeah,
you are not that 5-year-old self. You are not that 2-year-old self. You're not that infant. You're not that 14-year-old self. You're not that 20-year-old self. You are not that person that all that stuff got done to that you never dealt with because you were like, this is too painful for me to stay here. But you didn't stay there and you ran forward because maybe you couldn't handle it back then.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have sent you off to a place that you didn't need to be. Yeah. But I'm also have watched Click and this other movie about time, and I'm not about to pass by all these special moments because my butt can't see them clearly. And it's all altered by my mood and my thoughts and all that stuff. I am not doing that stuff anymore.
Fuck no.
Like, time is way too freaking precious. And we are the ones that guide and determine whether they're negative or positive to us.
Absolutely.
And we determine that. So what are you going to determine for yourself?
Yeah.
What are you gonna, first we talk about foundation. We talk about what we're trying to build, because you have to see if you're trying to fulfill that need of being like, oh, I need to feel needed. I need to feel worthy. I need to feel this. Okay, well, now you figured out the first time that you felt that was in kindergarten. Okay, now you realize why you felt that way. Well, guess what? Your world is you.
Facts.
You are worth it. Did you determine you are worthy? Did you determine that you have value? Did you determine that you fulfill your own needs and all that type of stuff? Then that's what it is.
Facts.
All these other people, we are all 12 zodiac signs, right? Maybe there's even more. I don't know. Don't quote me on stuff, guys. Yeah. I'm on a roll. We are all from this freaking earth. Like, say if it is true that we literally came from dirt on the soil of this land, which may not be freaking far-fetched, considering the fact that we are everything that you find on earth, you find in us.
Facts. Yes.
We're just so beautifully made.
Yeah.
Each and every one of us. And if we could get our freaking foot out our butts and open our eyes and realize the beauty in us and stop telling ourselves these ugly mistruths that have been told to us to keep us down, to keep us ugly, maybe we could do something.
Absolutely.
But if I have told myself that I'm ugly, that I have no purpose, that nobody loves me, and I would look at myself in a mirror and say these things to myself and not realizing what I was affirming, right? Which led me to go into situations where I knew I wasn't going to get love, where I knew I was going to get mistreated, where I knew I was going to get downplayed, where I knew that all these different things that I had already just told myself because that's what I was being programmed to feel by my family, by media, by external relationships, right? Instead of honing into myself and knowing my beauty and my passion and all this different type of stuff and the reason I was here, I knew from a young age God brought me here for a reason, and I would pray about it.
Yeah.
Let me be here for a reason. Let me be here to fulfill some beautiful purpose on this earth to help others. To bring love to the world.
Absolutely.
We each have to find that in ourselves, but we have to start asking ourselves these questions. So start asking yourself the questions. And know whatever comes out, you're going to be okay, but you're going to have to let go of the ugly.
Facts. Yeah.
Because you don't let go of the ugly will consume you.
Facts. That's right.
But it doesn't have to.
No, it don't. You know, you see Moana, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You know the Matanui, the girl that's the mountain. Yeah. Like she was all ugly. She was all trauma, right? And at the end.
Oh. Are you talking about
the mountain girl? The whole goddess
hold on.
What's her name? Is it Mata? Oh, Matanu is the island. What's her name?
Hold on. My kid said.
There's Maui, and she stole
Taka.
Because
they stole the heart from her.
Yeah. Is her name Taka? Is that her name?
When she's the lava monster, yes.
Okay. Taka. Yeah,
yes,
Taka.
She's a lava monster. She's Taka.
Yeah.
And then when she's not, she has a really pretty name too. It's gonna come to me. Keep talking.
But yeah, we're Taka. Yeah, you can't be. You can't operate in Taka mode. Taka just wants to destroy himself first and foremost. He's lava. That's what lava does. It burns it down.
But even the beautiful part about that is lava creates fertile land.
Yes, it does.
The ash from it and all that type of stuff. A volcano erupts, it creates islands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it could be viewed as destructive and horrible and ugly and scary, but then at the same token, it's creation.
Absolutely.
The whole earth, if you read the Bible, it was lava.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We got trees, bro.
Yeah.
We got animals, bro.
We got all of it.
We got water.
Man.
Like what? We got an ozone layer that we are depleting because we are full of nonsense sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's just like all these things that we've been told that we cannot reverse, we can reverse.
Facts. You said it best. You said it's love yourself. But what does that mean? It's like if you love yourself, why are you talking to yourself like that? Mm-hmm. Why are you not having grace?
What is love?
What is love?
What is love to you? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what is feminine energy to you? What is masculine energy? What are all these? Why don't we just start asking ourselves these questions? We've let all these other people tell us, and even myself, do not just let me tell you whatever. You go out, investigate for yourself, start asking yourself these questions. That's how I got to the place that I am now. I just started asking myself questions. Things didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I couldn't live in that world anymore.
Doesn't make sense.
So I asked questions.
You can't operate from confusion. You cannot operate at your highest potential operating with the base of confusion. If shit doesn't make sense, you are in a confused state. And a lot of people numb this confusion with psych meds or numb them with drugs, numb them with everything else.
Running away.
Yeah, running away. Not confronting the confusion, not inserting order into it.
We're supposed to sit still.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself as a tree. Your branches out, your leaves out. And you're just feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do. I was taught that meditation was a place for spirits and the devil to get inside you. And what is a greater way to discourage people to do something positive for themselves, but to make it evil?
Yeah, that's right.
As a deterrent.
Yeah.
So there's a way to do everything, just like how we started this, talking about witches and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
There are polar opposites, definitely.
Yeah.
But there's polarization, like there's the polar caps that keep a balance between the equator so that we don't overheat. And when they start melting, okay, the earth gets hotter. You know what I mean? Like there's a balance to everything. So it's just like, I really focus on intention. What is your intention in everything?
Absolutely.
And focus on the intention. That's your why. That's your reasoning. You know what I mean? People understand that.
Yeah,
but just, I don't know. Maybe just ask yourself some questions. Be honest with yourself. We all lie to ourselves.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And sometimes we just need to honor where we're at.
Yeah.
And that's why we're triggered too when people try to call us out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because we're not being honest with ourselves, and the fact that somebody else sees that is upsetting.
It makes you very, it's very uncomfortable.
Because you thought you were hiding it well enough.
Yeah.
But who are you hiding from?
Okay.
What things in the past have made you to where you are now?
That's right. That's why people get so defensive and triggered when you call them out on things that they're lying to themselves about what they're doing.
They ain't trying to see it.
No, fuck.
How dare you see it?
How dare you?
Bro, and we have to just...
How dare you? Super defensive.
Just...
Like they want to kill you.
Oh, yeah. You see... But then that goes back to like... Two, as well. Not being taught these things, right? Not being taught how to handle negative emotions, positive emotions. Some of us can't even handle being happy. We'll destroy it because we don't feel like we're deserving. But then also, like, what does it have to do with what we're eating, what we're putting into our body, what we're putting in the space that we're in, the environment? How does our place look? How does and is it a reflection of our mind? How we eat is a reflection of how our feelings or things that we're trying to run away with. Like, all of it's questions.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know.
I understand. Yeah. For some reason I hear love yourself all the time. And when you said it, I was like, bro, like you need to listen to her. You need to love yourself. And what I've done in my life, speaking of feminine energy, is if in the absence of loving myself, I exorce looking for love with the feminine. And so what does that look like? It looks like sex. It looks like being wanted and desired. So instead of finding that within, I would outsource those functions to other women. And then when they didn't meet my standards for fulfilling my own inner desire, then I would look for it elsewhere. And so I have a track record of discarding women when they no longer serve my own insecurity, or they no longer served as the Band-Aid for my own trauma.
And then from there, it's like, what weren't you receiving as a child to make you feel that you needed to outsource it that way?
Yeah.
Because it all stems from when we're kids. Everything that we're learning is from the moment that, even before we reach this earth.
For real.
Because we feel everything our mother's feeling.
Absolutely.
So maybe your mom felt unloved. Maybe your mom was seeking outward. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
all
And
these different things.
I don't want to put my parents' shit out there, but I do know that was a thing. What I've been remembered is that my mother was pregnant with me. There was something going on with my mother and father, and she was not. There was fear from my mother about my father. I'm not sure what was going on. Maybe I do know, but I just know that there was very much a high level of fear of not being loved, or maybe he was about to leave while she was pregnant with me. And that, in the womb, imprinted upon me the need to find the insecurity surrounding love. So I have been into this physical reality with like, where's that? Where's that? Fuck, I can't, it's not here. Survival. I'm not gonna make it. Oh, thank you. You love me. Show me that you love me. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm safe. That's what I've been. I'm not sure. I know that's from the womb, but And that doesn't even take into account lifetimes upon lifetimes of other baggage that I'm bringing to this case. All I know is I got a case. But first thing about realizing is in order to the first step in realizing you have a case is calling yourself, you got a case. You got to look at your case. I've been through it. You talk about near death. Mine was psychotic break. I'm like, the fact that I was hospitalized speaks volumes. But like, bro, that's a case. People don't just go to the hospital. There's reasons that led them up to that. So in order for you to process it, you have to ask yourself what the fuck happened, and then be honest with yourself, and then be honest with yourself about your responsibility for what has happened. You're always responsible.
Grace. I'm just gonna keep telling you grace because I see that you need to give it to yourself a lot. Give yourself some grace, bro. Like give yourself some grace. 110%. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's not gonna. We don't have to do this on the podcast.
Yeah.
But like, just give yourself grace. Everybody 100%. Needs to give themselves some sort of like peace. That's not to let you just do whatever you want. It's just, and it's not to run away from how you're feeling, because you have to acknowledge the space that you're in and understand why you're there. But if we focus on what we did wrong, we probably won't ever try to get to the place of how we can correct it or do better.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
that's how I'm gonna end this, is that we're all energy, we are all beautiful, and we just need to remind ourselves, no matter what everything else has been telling us outside, we have to start seeing it. It's taken me years to look at myself in the mirror, and sometimes I still have a hard time. So with saying all this stuff, and even if I've seemed calm now and calmer than the last experience with two men, like saying stuff to me that I just did not feel was necessarily correct, I'm not always in that place to feel that way.
I understand.
So it's like we're all beings, and we just need to try to support each other the best that we can. And my way to support y'all is to say, y'all loved. Y'all are loved. Y'all are loved, and you guys are well deserving of all that love and care and nourishment, and well deserving of healthy, amazing food, and well deserving of healthy environments, and having care all around you and love all around you.
I'm going to close this out in prayer.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
We thank you, Jehovah, for allowing us to be here in this space, to speak, to share, to be open. Really to be open, Jehovah. We really thank you for that. It's a safe experience to be able to have that. And we hope that with our openness, it allows other people to be open and reflective. And it allows other people to be supportive and understanding of others as well. To provide us with grace and to provide other people with grace, so they too can feel love, Jehovah. I know that we're all lacking that in our hearts, and a lot of us feel hurt and pain. And some of us just don't know what to do. But I hope that something in this podcast has helped someone release, and someone grab a tool, or just know that they need to talk to someone, Jehovah God. We thank you for all that you do. We thank you for letting us get here, for keeping us here. And we ask that you continue to guide us and protect us and watch over us, Jehovah God. For each and every day and each and every moment, we are appreciative, even if we don't always show it. We thank you for our families. We thank you for the space. We thank you that we were even conceived, Jehovah. And we ask that you continue to give us the strength to reach our purpose. And we thank you. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Ashe.
Oh Allah. Thank you for this time. Allow the pressure of the external environment forge a more powerful relationship with you, Lord. Give us the power to confront our issues and have grace with ourselves. And use the fire of our faith to truly become one with you and take as many people as us as we can. Use us to the maximum extent necessary to build that kingdom which is on its way. We see your kingdom coming, and we are here for you. And we love and serve you and you alone. Amen.